Breaking Free from Anorexia, Overcoming Anorexia and Reclaiming Your Life, written by Anna Bridges, narrated by Janice Peckers. Chapter 1, Introduction. Anorexia nervosa is a complex and often misunderstood illness that affects millions of people around the world. For those who suffer from it, life can feel like an endless battle with their own mind and body as they strive for an unattainable ideal. The struggle is not only physical but also deeply emotional and psychological, leaving individuals feeling isolated, powerless, and consumed by self-doubt. However, recovery is possible, and this book is here to show you the way forward. The purpose of this book is to provide hope, guidance, and practical tools for overcoming anorexia. Whether you are personally struggling with this condition or supporting someone who is, the journey toward recovery begins with understanding. It requires a willingness to face difficult truths, to acknowledge the pain, and to take small but meaningful steps toward healing. Recovery is not linear, nor is it easy, but it is achievable with the right mindset, support system, and strategies. Anorexia does not develop in isolation. It is often influenced by a combination of genetic predispositions, environmental factors, and societal pressures. This book explores these complexities while emphasizing that anorexia does not define you. You are more than your illness, and within you lies the strength to reclaim your life. As we journey through this book together, we will explore the roots of anorexia, the challenges it presents, and the ways it impacts not only the person suffering, but also their loved ones. We will delve into the physical and emotional toll it takes, while also highlighting the resilience and courage it takes to heal. You will find evidence-based techniques, personal insights, and actionable advice to support every stage of recovery. Recovery is a deeply personal process. What works for one person may not work for another, and it's okay to chart your own path. The key is to keep moving forward, even when setbacks arise. By the end of this book, you will have the tools to not only overcome anorexia, but to embrace a life of freedom, authenticity, and joy. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most powerful. Let this book be your guide as you embark on the transformative journey of breaking free from anorexia. Why this book was written. This book was written to offer hope and guidance to those struggling with anorexia and the people who care about them. Eating disorders are often shrouded in secrecy and misunderstood by society, making it difficult for individuals to seek help or feel understood. The journey toward recovery can feel daunting, lonely, and filled with setbacks. Yet the truth is that recovery is possible, and no one has to face this battle alone. Anorexia is not simply about food or weight. It is a complex and multifaceted condition rooted in emotional pain, psychological struggles, and societal influences. Despite its prevalence, misconceptions about anorexia persist, often minimizing its seriousness or oversimplifying its causes. This book seeks to dispel those myths while shedding light on the real challenges faced by those living with anorexia. It was also written because there is no universal roadmap for overcoming anorexia. Recovery is a deeply personal journey, and it can be hard to know where to start. This book aims to bridge that gap, providing clear, practical steps that empower individuals to take control of their healing process. It combines evidence-based strategies, personal reflections, and encouragement to help readers feel equipped and inspired to move forward. For those supporting a loved one with anorexia, this book offers insight into what the individual may be experiencing and how best to help. Many caregivers feel helpless or unsure of how to navigate such a sensitive situation. By providing understanding and tools for compassionate support, this book aims to create a foundation for healing relationships and fostering trust. At its core, this book was written to remind readers that anorexia does not define them. Beneath the disorder lies a person deserving of happiness, health, and a fulfilling life. Recovery is not about becoming perfect or adhering to anyone else's standards. It is about finding freedom from the chains of anorexia and embracing your true self. If you're reading this, it means you are ready to take a step, whether for yourself or for someone you love. That step is an act of courage, and it marks the beginning of a journey filled with resilience, growth, and hope. This book is here to walk alongside you, offering guidance and encouragement every step of the way. Understanding Anorexia, a Personal and Societal Perspective. Anorexia nervosa is a deeply personal struggle, yet it exists within a broader societal framework that often shapes how it manifests. On an individual level, anorexia can be an attempt to cope with overwhelming emotions, a sense of powerlessness, or an intense fear of failure. For many, it becomes a way to exert control in a world that feels unpredictable or unmanageable. However, the disorder is not merely an isolated personal experience. It is also influenced by societal pressures and cultural ideals that glorify thinness and perfection. The personal experience of anorexia is often one of profound inner conflict. On the surface, it may appear as though the individual is focused solely on food, weight, or appearance. In reality, these external behaviors are often symptoms of deeper emotional and psychological pain. The need to restrict, control, or punish the body can stem from feelings of inadequacy, shame, or unresolved trauma. The disorder creates a cycle that perpetuates itself, where physical deprivation leads to emotional numbness, reinforcing the very behaviors that cause harm. On a societal level, the pressure to conform to narrow standards of beauty cannot be ignored. Advertisements, social media, and popular culture bombard individuals, especially young people, with images that equate thinness with success, happiness, and worth. These messages often lead to unrealistic expectations and a constant sense of comparison. For those already predisposed to perfectionism or low self-esteem, these societal influences can serve as a catalyst, deepening the disordered thoughts and behaviors associated with anorexia. Understanding anorexia also requires acknowledging the stigma that surrounds it. Despite growing awareness, many still perceive eating disorders as a choice or superficial concern, rather than as the serious mental health conditions they are. This stigma often leads to shame and secrecy, making it harder for individuals to seek help and for loved ones to offer meaningful support. To fully grasp anorexia, we must look at both the individual's lived experience and the societal forces that contribute to the disorder's development. Healing involves addressing both, the internal struggles that drive the behaviors and the external influences that sustain them. By recognizing the complex interplay between personal pain and cultural pressure, we can take steps toward greater understanding, compassion, and ultimately recovery. The path to recovery, hope and possibility. Recovery from anorexia is a journey of transformation, resilience, and rediscovery. While the road can be challenging and sometimes overwhelming, it is a path filled with hope and the possibility of reclaiming a life free from the constraints of the disorder. Recovery is not about achieving perfection or returning to who you were before anorexia. Instead, it is about embracing the person you are becoming, stronger, healthier, and more connected to your true self. The first step on this path is recognizing that recovery is possible. Many people struggling with anorexia feel trapped, as though the disorder has taken over their identity. It can seem insurmountable, but countless individuals have faced the same struggles and emerged on the other side, living lives filled with purpose, joy, and authenticity. Their stories are a testament to the strength within each person battling this illness. Recovery is not linear, and setbacks are part of the process. It's important to understand that progress may come in small steps rather than giant leaps. A single meal, a moment of self-compassion, or the decision to reach out for help are all victories that contribute to long-term healing. Along the way, you will learn to reframe setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities for growth and reflection. At the heart of recovery lies the process of rebuilding a relationship with yourself. This involves addressing the thoughts and feelings that fuel disordered behaviors, challenging the inner critic, and developing new ways to cope with stress and emotional pain. It also means reconnecting with your body as a source of strength and vitality rather than an object to be controlled or criticized. Equally important is the role of support. No one should have to face recovery alone. Whether through therapy, support groups, or the love of friends and family, surrounding yourself with understanding and encouragement can make all the difference. Healing is a collaborative process, and leaning on others is a sign of strength, not weakness. Recovery opens the door to a life where anorexia no longer dictates your choices or defines your worth. It is a process of rediscovering who you are and what truly matters to you. With courage and perseverance, the path to recovery is not only possible, it is filled with the promise of freedom, self-acceptance, and lasting happiness. Chapter 2: Understanding Anorexia. Anorexia nervosa is more than a condition defined by restrictive eating or an intense fear of weight gain. It is a multifaceted mental health disorder with physical, emotional, and psychological dimensions. To truly understand anorexia, one must look beyond the visible symptoms to the underlying factors that drive this complex illness. At its core, anorexia often stems from a combination of genetic, psychological, and environmental influences. While no single cause can be pinpointed, individuals with anorexia frequently exhibit traits such as perfectionism, a need for control, or heightened sensitivity to criticism. These characteristics can make them more vulnerable to societal pressures and internal conflicts, leading to disordered eating as a coping mechanism. Physically, anorexia exerts a profound toll on the body. Prolonged restriction of food intake can lead to severe malnutrition, affecting every organ system. Common consequences include weakened bones, heart irregularities, digestive problems, and hormonal imbalances. Over time, these physical changes can create a dangerous cycle, as malnutrition itself intensifies the mental and emotional symptoms of the disorder. Emotionally, anorexia often manifests as a way to manage overwhelming feelings. Restricting food may provide a temporary sense of control or relief, but it ultimately isolates individuals and deepens their emotional pain. Thoughts become consumed by calorie counting, weight checks, and a relentless pursuit of an unrealistic ideal. This preoccupation makes it difficult to engage fully in life, straining relationships and diminishing overall well-being. On a societal level, anorexia is fueled by pervasive cultural messages that equate thinness with beauty, success, and worth. From a young age, many people are bombarded with images and messages that glorify restrictive eating and shame natural variations in body size. For those susceptible to such influences, these societal ideals can act as a trigger, reinforcing disordered thoughts and behaviors. Understanding anorexia also means acknowledging its diversity. While it is commonly associated with adolescent girls, anorexia affects people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. This universality underscores the need for a compassionate, individualized approach to treatment and recovery. Ultimately, understanding anorexia is the first step toward overcoming it. By recognizing the intricate interplay of personal struggles and societal influences, we can replace judgment with empathy and support. Only then can we begin to address the root causes of this illness and pave the way for healing and recovery. What is anorexia nervosa? Anorexia nervosa is a serious mental health disorder characterized by an intense fear of gaining weight and a distorted perception of body image. It goes far beyond a desire to be thin or fit into societal ideals. Anorexia is a complex condition that impacts both the mind and body, often with life-threatening consequences. Individuals with anorexia engage in behaviors designed to restrict food intake, sometimes to the point of starvation, in an attempt to control their weight or shape. At its core, anorexia is not about food or appearance alone. It often stems from deep-seated psychological struggles, including low self-esteem, a desire for control, or unresolved emotional pain. For many, the behaviors associated with anorexia provide a sense of stability or relief in the face of overwhelming stress, anxiety, or trauma. Over time, however, these behaviors become compulsive and self-destructive, trapping the individual in a cycle that is difficult to break. Physically, anorexia has far-reaching effects on the body. Prolonged restriction of calories can lead to severe malnutrition, affecting every major organ. Common symptoms include extreme weight loss, fatigue, dizziness, and a noticeable decline in physical health. In more advanced stages, anorexia can result in irregular heart rhythms, weakened bones, and failure of essential organs. Without intervention, the physical toll of anorexia can be fatal. Emotionally and mentally, anorexia distorts how individuals see themselves and their bodies. Many people with the disorder view themselves as overweight, even when they are underweight or dangerously thin. This body image distortion is a hallmark of anorexia and often drives behaviors such as excessive exercising, fasting, or avoiding certain food groups. These actions are frequently accompanied by obsessive thoughts about food, weight, and body size, further consuming the individual's mental and emotional energy. It is also important to recognize that anorexia is not a choice or a lifestyle. It is a mental illness that requires compassionate understanding and professional support. Although the condition is often associated with teenage girls, it affects people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. Anorexia nervosa is both a physical and psychological condition that demands a holistic approach to treatment and recovery. By addressing the underlying causes and providing adequate care, individuals can break free from the disorder and reclaim a life of health and fulfillment. Signs, symptoms, and early warning signals. Recognizing the signs, symptoms, and early warning signals of anorexia nervosa is crucial for timely intervention and treatment. Although the disorder often develops gradually, there are key physical, emotional, and behavioral indicators that suggest an individual may be struggling. Understanding these warning signs can help loved ones and caregivers provide support and encourage professional help before the condition becomes more severe. Physical symptoms of anorexia are often the most visible. Significant weight loss is one of the primary indicators, although individuals may go to great lengths to conceal their changing body. Other physical signs include fatigue, dizziness, thinning hair, brittle nails, and dry skin. Over time, severe malnutrition can cause more concerning effects, such as irregular heart rhythms, fainting, and loss of menstrual cycles in women. A person with anorexia may also feel cold more often due to low body fat and a slowed metabolism. Emotionally, anorexia is often accompanied by intense feelings of guilt, shame, and a relentless fear of gaining weight. Individuals may express dissatisfaction with their appearance or engage in negative self-talk about their body. Mood swings, irritability, and withdrawal from social activities are also common. These emotional shifts are often tied to the psychological burden of maintaining restrictive eating behaviors and the isolation that can come with the disorder. Behavioral changes often signal the onset of anorexia. A person may begin avoiding meals, making excuses not to eat, or expressing an intense interest in dieting or clean eating. Obsessive behaviors around food, such as counting calories or measuring portion sizes, are red flags. In some cases, individuals may engage in excessive exercise even when they are tired or injured, as a way to compensate for eating. Secretive eating habits, such as hiding or discarding food, are also common warning signs. Early intervention is critical in addressing anorexia, as the longer the disorder persists, the harder it can be to treat. If you notice these signs in yourself or someone you care about, it's important to seek help from a qualified professional. Anorexia is a serious condition, but with early detection and a strong support system, recovery is possible. Recognizing the warning signals is the first step toward providing the understanding and care needed to break free from the grip of this illness. Physical and emotional consequences of anorexia. Anorexia nervosa has far-reaching consequences, affecting both the body and the mind in profound ways. The physical and emotional toll of this disorder can be devastating, with both immediate and long-term effects that impact nearly every aspect of a person's life. Understanding these consequences is essential for recognizing the severity of the condition and the importance of early intervention and treatment. Physically, anorexia places immense strain on the body. The most immediate consequence of prolonged starvation is malnutrition, which disrupts the body's ability to function properly. Vital organs, including the heart, liver, and kidneys, can begin to fail due to nutrient deficiencies. One of the most dangerous effects is the weakening of the heart muscle, which can lead to irregular heart rhythms or even heart failure. Other common physical consequences include bone density loss, leading to osteoporosis, and muscle wasting, which can result in physical weakness. In women, anorexia often causes irregular menstrual cycles or the complete cessation of menstruation due to hormonal imbalances. The immune system is also compromised, making the body more susceptible to infections. Anorexia also impacts a person's psychological well-being. Emotionally, the disorder often stems from underlying feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, or trauma, and it magnifies these emotional struggles. A distorted body image and intense fear of gaining weight dominate the individual's thoughts, leading to persistent dissatisfaction with one's appearance, regardless of how thin the person becomes. This body dysmorphia reinforces the cycle of restriction and self-criticism. Over time, these negative emotions intensify, often resulting in depression, anxiety, and irritability. The emotional toll can make it increasingly difficult for individuals to maintain relationships, as they may isolate themselves from loved ones or withdraw from social situations to avoid eating. The mental and emotional consequences of anorexia can also impair cognitive function. Malnutrition can affect concentration, memory, and decision-making abilities, further reinforcing the disorder's grip. The preoccupation with food, weight, and body image can dominate an individual's thoughts, pushing aside other aspects of life such as academic performance, career, or personal relationships. Ultimately, the physical and emotional consequences of anorexia are deeply interconnected. The longer the disorder persists, the more difficult it becomes to reverse the damage. However, with appropriate treatment, many of the effects of anorexia can be mitigated and recovery is possible. Addressing both the physical and emotional aspects of anorexia is key to healing and reclaiming a healthy, fulfilling life. Myths and misconceptions about eating disorders. Eating disorders, including anorexia nervosa, are often surrounded by myths and misconceptions that can hinder understanding and prevent individuals from seeking help. These misunderstandings perpetuate stigma, isolate those who struggle with eating disorders, and create barriers to effective treatment. It's crucial to challenge these myths and develop a more accurate and compassionate understanding of eating disorders to support those affected and promote recovery. One common misconception is that eating disorders are a choice or simply a result of vanity. Many believe that individuals with anorexia simply want to be thin or are obsessed with their appearance. In reality, eating disorders are complex mental health conditions with deep psychological and emotional roots. They are often linked to underlying issues such as trauma, low self-esteem, perfectionism, and anxiety. While the behaviors may focus on food and body image, they serve as coping mechanisms for managing overwhelming emotions and are not a conscious attempt to attain societal ideals of beauty. Another myth is that eating disorders only affect young women. While it is true that anorexia and other eating disorders are more commonly diagnosed in adolescent girls, they affect individuals of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. Men, older adults, and children can all develop eating disorders, though the signs may be less recognized or more easily dismissed in these groups. Cultural stereotypes about gender and eating disorders often make it harder for males to seek help, as they may feel shame or embarrassment about struggling with a disorder that is primarily associated with women. Some people also believe that individuals with eating disorders must be dangerously thin to be diagnosed with anorexia. While extreme weight loss is a hallmark of anorexia, it is important to remember that the disorder is defined by behaviors and mental patterns, not just physical appearance. Many people with anorexia may not appear underweight, yet still suffer from disordered eating patterns and distorted body image. Eating disorders exist on a spectrum, and anyone struggling with food or body image issues can be affected, regardless of their size. Finally, there is a widespread misconception that eating disorders are not serious or that they will simply go away on their own. In reality, eating disorders are serious, potentially life-threatening conditions that require professional treatment. Left untreated, they can lead to severe physical health consequences, emotional distress, and long-term psychological issues. Recovery is possible, but it requires comprehensive care, support, and time. Dispelling these myths is essential in creating a more informed and supportive environment for those battling eating disorders. By recognizing the complexity of these conditions and the need for compassionate care, we can encourage understanding, reduce stigma, and help individuals on their journey toward recovery. Chapter 3: The Roots of Anorexia. Anorexia nervosa is a complex disorder with deep-rooted causes that go beyond simple concerns about food and body image. To fully understand anorexia, it's essential to explore the various factors that contribute to its development. While each individual's experience is unique, there are common psychological, genetic, and environmental influences that can play a significant role in the onset of the disorder. Psychologically, anorexia is often linked to underlying emotional struggles. Many individuals with anorexia have difficulty managing intense emotions, such as anxiety, sadness, or stress. The disorder can be seen as a way to gain control over these overwhelming feelings. For those who feel powerless or unable to cope with emotional turmoil, restricting food intake or controlling weight may provide a temporary sense of relief or mastery. Over time, these behaviors can become ingrained as they offer a false sense of stability in an otherwise unpredictable world. Another psychological factor that contributes to anorexia is perfectionism. Individuals with anorexia often have high personal standards and an intense desire to meet societal expectations. These perfectionistic tendencies can manifest as a rigid need to control their body and weight in the pursuit of an idealized version of themselves. The drive for perfection is often fueled by feelings of inadequacy or fear of failure, making the disorder more difficult to overcome without addressing these deep-seated beliefs. Genetic factors also play a role in the development of anorexia. Research suggests that individuals with a family history of eating disorders or other mental health conditions may be more vulnerable to developing anorexia themselves. Certain genes related to mood regulation and impulsivity may make individuals more susceptible to the disorder, though genetics alone cannot explain the onset of anorexia. Environmental influences often interact with genetic predispositions to trigger the disorder. Environmental and societal factors are also crucial in understanding anorexia. The pervasive pressure to conform to narrow beauty standards, particularly those that idealize thinness, can contribute to the development of anorexia. Media, social networks, and societal expectations often reinforce unrealistic body ideals, leading to feelings of inadequacy and the belief that one's worth is tied to appearance. Additionally, stressful life events, trauma, or a history of abuse can act as triggers, pushing individuals to adopt restrictive eating behaviors as a way to cope. The roots of anorexia are multifaceted, involving a combination of psychological, genetic, and environmental factors. Understanding these complexities is crucial for effective treatment, as it allows for a holistic approach that addresses the underlying causes of the disorder while offering support for recovery. Psychological triggers: anxiety, perfectionism, and control. The development of anorexia nervosa is often deeply intertwined with psychological factors, and for many individuals, anxiety, perfectionism, and a need for control act as powerful triggers for the disorder. These psychological triggers can serve as coping mechanisms for emotional distress, though they ultimately reinforce the disorder's grip, make recovery more challenging. Understanding how these elements contribute to anorexia can help shed light on the complexities of the disorder and the need for a compassionate therapeutic approach to treatment. Anxiety is one of the most common psychological triggers for anorexia. Individuals with anorexia often struggle with chronic feelings of unease, worry, or fear, which may be related to a variety of life stressors or internal pressures. The disorder can become a way of managing these overwhelming emotions, as controlling food intake or weight may provide a temporary sense of relief from anxiety. In an effort to gain control over their environment, individuals may resort to restrictive eating as a means of exerting control over at least one aspect of their lives. However, this sense of control is illusory, and over time, the anxiety intensifies, reinforcing the disordered behaviors. Perfectionism is another significant psychological factor in the development of anorexia. Many individuals with the disorder have extremely high standards for themselves, and they may feel an overwhelming need to achieve perfection in every aspect of their lives. This drive for perfection often extends to their appearance, where they may fixate on achieving an idealized, often unattainable body shape. For individuals with anorexia, these perfectionistic tendencies can lead to an obsessive preoccupation with weight, food, and exercise. The belief that they must be flawless in order to be worthy or loved can fuel disordered eating habits, making it difficult to break free from the cycle. Control is a central theme in anorexia, often serving as both a trigger and a sustaining factor in the disorder. For many people with anorexia, food becomes one of the few areas in life where they feel they can exert complete control. This need for control may be rooted in feelings of helplessness or vulnerability in other areas of life. By restricting their food intake, they may feel a temporary sense of empowerment or order amidst chaos. However, as control becomes increasingly obsessive and all-consuming, it takes a destructive toll on both physical and emotional well-being. Together, anxiety, perfectionism, and a need for control create a potent psychological framework that drives the behaviors seen in anorexia. Addressing these psychological triggers in treatment is essential for breaking the cycle of the disorder and beginning the journey toward healing. The role of trauma and life events. Trauma and significant life events often play a pivotal role in the development and perpetuation of anorexia nervosa. While not all individuals with anorexia have experienced trauma, for many, a history of traumatic events can act as a catalyst for the onset of disordered eating behaviors. These events can include a wide range of experiences such as abuse, the death of a loved one, bullying, or even significant life transitions. Understanding the connection between trauma, life events, and anorexia is crucial for creating effective, compassionate treatment plans that address the root causes of the disorder. For many individuals, anorexia becomes a coping mechanism for managing the emotional aftermath of trauma. Experiences of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, for instance, can create a profound sense of powerlessness and fear. In these situations, controlling food intake or body size may feel like one of the few ways to regain a sense of control over a chaotic or unsafe environment. This can be particularly true for those who have faced childhood trauma, where early experiences of helplessness or neglect can shape an individual's sense of self-worth and coping strategies. The act of restricting food intake may temporarily provide a sense of control or numb the emotional pain associated with trauma, though it often leads to further psychological distress. Similarly, major life events such as the loss of a loved one, a breakup, or family instability can trigger deep emotional turmoil that individuals may struggle to cope with. In response to these overwhelming feelings, some individuals turn to anorexia as a way to regain control or distract themselves from their emotions. The disorder may serve as a form of emotional regulation, providing a way to cope with grief, anxiety, or depression. Even seemingly less traumatic life events, such as moving to a new city or starting a new school, can act as triggers. The pressure to fit in, maintain a certain appearance, or excel in new environments can cause stress and anxiety, leading some individuals to adopt restrictive eating habits as a way to feel more in control or to conform to perceived expectations. Understanding the role of trauma and life events in anorexia is essential for recovery. Addressing past trauma through therapy, building emotional resilience, and learning healthier coping mechanisms are vital steps in breaking free from the cycle of anorexia. By recognizing the connection between traumatic experiences and eating disorders, individuals can begin to heal both emotionally and physically. Cultural and societal pressures. The beauty ideal. Cultural and societal pressures play a significant role in the development of anorexia nervosa, especially through the promotion of a narrow and unrealistic beauty ideal. In many societies, particularly in Western cultures, there is a pervasive emphasis on thinness as a standard of beauty, success, and worth. These ideals are reinforced through media, advertising, and social platforms, creating a societal narrative that associates beauty, happiness, and personal value with a slim body. This emphasis on physical appearance can lead to intense body dissatisfaction, particularly among vulnerable individuals, and may contribute to the onset of eating disorders such as anorexia. The media, in particular, plays a central role in shaping cultural ideals of beauty. Television, magazines, social media, and movies often present images of women and men with unattainable body types, particularly thinness, as the ultimate goal. These images are frequently edited, airbrushed, or manipulated to fit an ideal that very few people naturally possess. The constant bombardment of these unrealistic representations can distort individuals' perceptions of their own bodies, leading them to believe they must conform to these standards in order to be accepted or valued. This pressure is not limited to women. Men, too, are increasingly faced with societal expectations around body image, often centered on muscularity and leanness. Social media has amplified these pressures, creating a culture of comparison where individuals often measure their self-worth against the curated lives and bodies of others. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok, which showcase filtered images of ideal bodies, can foster feelings of inadequacy, fueling an obsession with achieving a certain body type. Influencers, celebrities, and even peers may unintentionally promote disordered eating behaviors by presenting an unrealistic standard of beauty that many feel compelled to attain. Additionally, the idea of beauty as a form of success is deeply ingrained in consumer culture. Beauty and wellness industries profit from insecurities by marketing products and diets that promise to help individuals achieve a particular look. The constant drive to sell products related to weight loss, beauty enhancement, and fitness exacerbates the belief that personal value is linked to physical appearance. The societal pressure to conform to an idealized beauty standard can create a cycle of self-criticism and the desire for control over one's body. For individuals struggling with anorexia, the quest for thinness may be an attempt to meet these external expectations, even at the cost of their health. Breaking free from these societal pressures requires challenging cultural norms and fostering a healthier, more inclusive understanding of beauty, one that values individuals for who they are rather than how they look. Family dynamics and genetic factors. Family dynamics and genetic factors are critical components in understanding the development of anorexia nervosa. While no single cause can explain the onset of the disorder, a combination of inherited predispositions and family environment can significantly contribute to its emergence. Both genetics and the family system play a role in shaping an individual's susceptibility to anorexia, and recognizing their influence is essential in creating a comprehensive approach to treatment and recovery. Genetic factors are thought to increase the risk of developing anorexia nervosa. Research has shown that individuals with a family history of eating disorders or other mental health conditions, such as anxiety or depression, are more likely to develop anorexia themselves. Genetic variations that affect neurotransmitters, such as serotonin, may contribute to the development of anorexia by influencing mood regulation, impulsivity, and the ability to cope with stress. While genetics alone do not determine whether someone will develop an eating disorder, they may make certain individuals more vulnerable to environmental triggers or psychological stressors. Family dynamics also play a significant role in the development of anorexia. Families with a history of high expectations, rigid roles, or a focus on appearance and achievement may inadvertently create an environment where anorexia can thrive. In some cases, individuals may feel pressure to meet perfectionistic standards set by parents or caregivers, leading to low self-esteem and a sense of inadequacy. For some, the eating disorder becomes a way to cope with emotional tension or a desire to gain control over their lives. Additionally, family members may unintentionally contribute to the development of anorexia through their own relationships with food, body image, and emotional expression. For example, if parents or siblings model disordered eating behaviors or express negative views about their own bodies, these attitudes can be internalized by the individual. Furthermore, in some families, emotional communication may be limited or dysfunctional, leading individuals to suppress feelings of distress, anxiety, or sadness, which may manifest as disordered eating. However, family dynamics are not always the cause of anorexia, and many individuals with eating disorders come from supportive and loving families. It is important to recognize that while family dynamics and genetic factors may contribute to the risk of developing anorexia, they do not guarantee its onset. Treatment that involves family therapy can be highly beneficial, helping to improve communication, support recovery, and address any underlying family issues. Chapter 4: Acknowledging the Problem. Acknowledging that there is a problem is the first critical step on the path to recovery from anorexia nervosa. For many individuals, the process of recognizing the disorder is difficult, as the behaviors associated with anorexia, such as extreme dieting, excessive exercise, and restrictive eating, can become deeply ingrained in daily life. Denial and resistance to accepting the reality of the disorder often stem from a complex mix of fear, shame, and self-deception. However, understanding the significance of acknowledging the problem is essential, as it sets the foundation for seeking help and beginning the healing process. One of the major barriers to acknowledging anorexia is the internalized belief that the behaviors associated with the disorder are normal or even necessary. Many individuals with anorexia do not see their restrictive eating and obsession with weight as harmful, often justifying these behaviors as a way to maintain control, discipline, or perfection. These beliefs can be reinforced by the distorted body image that often accompanies anorexia, where individuals may see themselves as overweight despite being dangerously underweight. This disconnect between reality and perception makes it difficult for them to recognize the severity of their condition. There is also a pervasive fear of gaining weight or losing control. For individuals with anorexia, the thought of eating normally or gaining weight can be terrifying, as it challenges their sense of self-worth and the core beliefs that the disorder is built upon. This fear often leads to intense resistance to acknowledging the problem, as accepting the need for help would mean confronting these deeply entrenched fears. Moreover, societal pressures and stigma surrounding eating disorders can contribute to reluctance in acknowledging the problem. Many people fear judgment, shame, or misunderstanding, as eating disorders are often misunderstood as a result of vanity or willpower, rather than serious mental health conditions. This stigma can discourage individuals from seeking help, prolonging their suffering. Despite these challenges, acknowledging the problem is a vital part of recovery. It requires vulnerability, self-compassion, and a willingness to confront the painful reality of the disorder. Family members, friends, and mental health professionals can provide crucial support in this process, offering encouragement and understanding. By taking this first step, individuals open the door to the possibility of healing, allowing them to seek the professional help they need to begin their journey to recovery. The moment of recognition. The moment of recognition is a turning point in the recovery process for individuals struggling with anorexia nervosa. It is the moment when they begin to acknowledge that the behaviors and thoughts associated with the disorder are not just a phase or a healthy lifestyle choice, but a serious problem that requires intervention. This realization, though challenging, is often the catalyst for change and marks the beginning of the journey toward healing and recovery. For many individuals with anorexia, recognition does not happen overnight. It can be a gradual process, often triggered by a specific event, intervention from loved ones, or an increasing awareness of the negative impact the disorder is having on their lives. The moment of recognition may come when an individual sees the physical toll anorexia has taken on their body, such as extreme weight loss, fatigue, or other health issues. For others, it may occur when they realize that their preoccupation with food, weight, and appearance is interfering with relationships, work, or daily functioning. However, the moment of recognition can also be fraught with confusion, fear, and resistance. The very behaviors that are causing harm may be deeply ingrained in an individual's sense of identity and control. Accepting that they need help often feels like relinquishing control over something that has become central to their lives. The fear of gaining weight, the anxiety over losing control, and the shame associated with the disorder can create powerful emotional barriers to recognition. For some, the recognition of the problem may be prompted by a loved one's intervention. Family members or close friends may notice changes in behavior or appearance and express their concerns. Though this may initially provoke defensiveness or denial, it can plant the seed of awareness that leads to self-reflection. A trusted therapist or counselor can also be instrumental in guiding individuals through the process of recognizing anorexia, providing a safe, non-judgmental space for them to explore their feelings and beliefs about their body and eating habits. The moment of recognition is often a profound and difficult experience, as it involves confronting painful truths about one's relationship with food and body image. However, it also marks the beginning of hope and the possibility of recovery. With support, individuals can move beyond the initial resistance and take the necessary steps toward healing, knowing that the journey ahead will involve growth, self-compassion, and transformation. Moving beyond denial and secrecy. Moving beyond denial and secrecy is a critical step in the journey toward recovery from anorexia nervosa. For many individuals, denial is a defense mechanism that helps them avoid facing the harsh reality of the disorder. The fear of confronting the truth about their behaviors, feelings, and the physical consequences of anorexia can lead to a strong resistance to acknowledging the need for help. Similarly, secrecy often plays a significant role in the disorder, as individuals hide their eating behaviors and emotions from others to maintain control and avoid judgment. Overcoming these barriers is essential for beginning the healing process. Denial in anorexia often arises from a distorted perception of one's body and eating habits. Many individuals with anorexia do not recognize the severity of their condition, believing that their extreme dieting or weight loss is either necessary or healthy. This denial is reinforced by the disorder's underlying fears and compulsions, including the fear of gaining weight or losing control. The longer an individual denies the problem, the deeper the behaviors can become entrenched, making it increasingly difficult to acknowledge the disorder and seek help. Secrecy is another powerful factor that prolongs the suffering of individuals with anorexia. This secrecy may manifest in various ways, such as hiding food, lying about eating habits, or avoiding social situations where eating is expected. Secrecy often stems from a fear of judgment or shame, as well as a desire to maintain control over a situation that feels uncontrollable. By concealing their behaviors, individuals may feel a temporary sense of relief or protection from the emotional distress associated with anorexia. However, this secrecy only exacerbates the isolation and emotional turmoil that accompany the disorder. The process of moving beyond denial and secrecy requires a shift in mindset, as well as support from others. Therapy can be an essential tool in breaking down these walls, as it provides a safe and non-judgmental space to explore the underlying fears, beliefs, and motivations driving the disorder. Building trust with a therapist, family members, or close friends is key to reducing the isolation that secrecy creates. Supportive relationships help individuals feel seen, understood, and encouraged to face the reality of their disorder. Moving beyond denial and secrecy is a difficult but transformative step in recovery. It involves vulnerability, courage, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. While it may initially feel overwhelming, this step opens the door to healing, allowing individuals to begin the process of reclaiming their lives and rebuilding their relationship with food, their body, and themselves. How to approach a loved one struggling with anorexia. Approaching a loved one struggling with anorexia can be a delicate and challenging process. The disorder is often accompanied by denial, shame, and defensiveness, making it difficult for individuals to recognize the need for help or to open up about their struggles. Despite these challenges, approaching a loved one with compassion, understanding, and sensitivity can play a pivotal role in encouraging them to seek the help they need. The first step in approaching a loved one is to ensure that the conversation is done in a safe, non-confrontational environment. Timing and setting are crucial. Choosing a moment when both you and your loved one are calm and able to communicate without distractions can create an atmosphere of openness and support. Avoiding judgmental language and accusations is key, as this can trigger feelings of defensiveness or shame. Instead, focus on expressing genuine concern for their well-being. Use I statements rather than you statements to avoid sounding accusatory. For example, saying, "I've noticed you've been feeling more tired lately, and I'm worried about your health," is less likely to provoke defensiveness than saying, "You've lost too much weight and it's concerning." By speaking from a place of care and concern, rather than blame, you create an opportunity for dialogue without alienating the individual. It's important to recognize that the loved one may not be ready to acknowledge or accept their eating disorder, and that's okay. Anorexia often involves deep denial and resistance, and it can take time for individuals to come to terms with their condition. Be patient and avoid pushing them into a conversation or intervention they're not prepared for. Instead, offer your support and let them know you are there for them when they are ready to seek help. While it may feel difficult, expressing your willingness to support them through the recovery process is crucial. Offer to help research treatment options or attend therapy sessions together. Reassure them that recovery is possible and let them know that they do not have to face the journey alone. It's also important to educate yourself about anorexia so that you can better understand what your loved one is going through and how to be a supportive ally in their recovery. Approaching a loved one struggling with anorexia requires patience, empathy, and persistence. While the path to recovery can be long, your love and support can be a powerful catalyst for them to take the first step toward healing. Chapter 5: Building Your Recovery Team. Building a strong and supportive recovery team is a vital component of overcoming anorexia nervosa. Recovery from an eating disorder is rarely a solitary journey. It requires the involvement of professionals, loved ones, and supportive peers who can provide guidance, encouragement, and care. Creating a recovery team involves assembling individuals who can address various aspects of the disorder, including medical, psychological, nutritional, and emotional needs. By surrounding yourself with a compassionate and skilled team, you increase the likelihood of long-term success in your recovery. The first step in building a recovery team is to involve a qualified healthcare professional, such as a doctor or therapist, who has experience in treating eating disorders. A medical professional is essential for evaluating the physical consequences of anorexia and ensuring that any health concerns are addressed. They will help monitor weight, nutrition, and other health parameters, while also providing referrals for specialized care if necessary. Additionally, a therapist, particularly one trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or other evidence-based treatments for eating disorders, can help address the psychological aspects of anorexia, including distorted body image, perfectionism, and low self-esteem. A registered dietitian who specializes in eating disorders is another critical member of the recovery team. They can help create a meal plan that supports healthy weight restoration, teaches balanced eating habits, and guides the individual toward a positive relationship with food. Dietitians can also help patients navigate the emotional aspects of eating, providing strategies for overcoming fear foods and managing anxiety around meals. In addition to healthcare professionals, having a strong support system made up of family members and friends is equally important. Loved ones can offer emotional support, encouragement, and understanding throughout the recovery process. Open communication and a commitment to providing non-judgmental support are crucial in fostering trust and helping individuals feel safe as they work through the challenges of recovery. Support groups, both in person and online, can also be valuable in building a recovery team. Connecting with others who have experienced similar struggles can create a sense of community and reduce feelings of isolation. Peer support can offer insights, validation, and hope, as well as provide opportunities to share coping strategies and celebrate progress. Building a recovery team is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Each individual's needs will differ, and it is important to find professionals and loved ones who are understanding, compassionate, and committed to supporting the individual in their recovery. With the right team in place, individuals with anorexia can feel empowered to face the challenges of recovery, knowing they have the support and resources needed to succeed. Choosing a therapist or counselor. Choosing the right therapist or counselor is a critical step in the recovery process for individuals struggling with anorexia nervosa. Therapy provides a safe, supportive space to explore the underlying psychological issues that contribute to the disorder, such as distorted body image, perfectionism, and emotional distress. The right therapist can help individuals develop healthier coping strategies, address negative thought patterns, and work toward building a positive relationship with food and their body. When selecting a therapist, it is essential to consider their expertise and experience in treating eating disorders. Not all therapists specialize in this area, so it is important to seek out someone who has experience working with individuals with anorexia and other eating disorders. A therapist trained in evidence-based treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, is often a good choice. These therapeutic approaches have been proven effective in treating eating disorders by helping individuals challenge unhealthy thought patterns and behaviors, manage emotions, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. It is also important to consider the therapist's approach to treatment. Some therapists focus on the emotional and psychological aspects of anorexia, helping individuals address the underlying issues that contribute to the disorder. Others may incorporate more practical strategies, such as meal planning and nutritional guidance, to help individuals restore a healthier relationship with food. The therapist's approach should align with the individual's needs and preferences, creating a treatment plan that is comprehensive and tailored to their specific recovery journey. A strong therapeutic alliance, or the quality of the relationship between the therapist and client, is also crucial. The therapist should be someone the individual feels comfortable with and able to trust. Building trust and rapport can take time, so it is important to find someone who is empathetic, non-judgmental, and patient. The therapist should be a good listener and able to create an environment where the individual feels heard and understood. Finally, logistical factors, such as the therapist's availability, location, and cost, should also be considered. Many therapists offer a sliding scale for fees or accept insurance, making therapy more accessible. It is essential to find someone whose services fit within your practical needs while also meeting your emotional and psychological requirements. Choosing a therapist or counselor is a personal decision that requires careful consideration. A skilled and compassionate therapist can provide the tools, support, and guidance necessary for individuals with anorexia to navigate the challenges of recovery and work toward a healthier, more balanced life. The role of dietitians and medical professionals. Dietitians and medical professionals play a crucial role in the recovery process for individuals struggling with anorexia nervosa. While therapy addresses the psychological aspects of the disorder, dietitians and doctors focus on the physical health of the individual and work to restore proper nutrition, monitor health progress, and address any medical complications that arise from the disorder. Their expertise ensures that individuals receive holistic care that supports both their physical and emotional well-being. Dietitians specializing in eating disorders are integral to helping individuals rebuild a healthy relationship with food. These professionals provide guidance on meal planning, proper nutrition, and strategies for overcoming food-related anxiety. A dietitian will typically work with the individual to develop a personalized meal plan that supports healthy weight restoration, addresses nutrient deficiencies, and helps reintroduce balanced eating habits. The goal is to help individuals normalize their eating patterns, rebuild trust in their bodies, and promote lasting behavioral changes that foster long-term recovery. They also provide valuable support for managing fear foods, which often present significant challenges for those with anorexia. Medical professionals, such as doctors or psychiatrists, ensure that the physical health of individuals with anorexia is properly monitored. Anorexia can lead to serious medical complications, including electrolyte imbalances, heart problems, bone density loss, and organ damage. A medical doctor will assess the individual's physical condition, perform necessary tests, and monitor vital signs to detect and treat any potential medical issues. In cases of severe malnutrition or medical complications, hospitalization may be necessary to stabilize the individual's health before continuing with outpatient treatment. In addition to doctors, psychiatrists may also play a role in managing the mental health aspects of recovery, particularly if there are co-occurring conditions such as depression or anxiety. Medication may be prescribed to help manage symptoms of these conditions, which often complicate recovery from anorexia. Psychiatrists can work closely with therapists and dietitians to ensure that the individual's treatment plan is comprehensive and addresses all facets of their health. Together, dietitians and medical professionals provide essential support in the recovery process. By focusing on both physical and emotional well-being, they help individuals with anorexia restore balance to their lives and take the necessary steps toward healing. Their collaborative care ensures that recovery is approached in a well-rounded, sustainable manner, supporting long-term success and health. Had friends, family, and support networks. Friends, family, and support networks are vital to the recovery process for individuals struggling with anorexia nervosa. While professional treatment provides the necessary tools and guidance for recovery, the love, encouragement, and understanding of those closest to the individual can significantly impact their ability to heal. Support systems offer emotional comfort, help reduce isolation, and create a safe environment where individuals feel valued and understood. For family members and friends, understanding the complexities of anorexia is essential to providing the right kind of support. Anorexia is not just about food and weight, but involves deep psychological and emotional struggles. Family and friends may initially feel helpless or unsure about how to help, but with the right knowledge, they can play an active and supportive role in recovery. It's important for loved ones to educate themselves about anorexia so they can offer non-judgmental support, encourage healthy behaviors, and foster open communication. Effective support begins with listening without judgment. It's crucial to create an environment where the individual feels comfortable expressing their feelings, fears, and struggles. This can be difficult, especially if the individual is in denial or is resistant to treatment, but expressing care and concern without pressure or blame can help open the door to communication. Loved ones should also be patient and recognize that recovery is a long, nonlinear process. There may be setbacks along the way, but consistency in offering support can provide the emotional strength needed to continue moving forward. It's equally important for family members and friends to take care of themselves during the recovery process. Supporting someone with anorexia can be emotionally taxing, and it's essential to set boundaries, seek their own support, and avoid enabling disordered behaviors. Encouraging self-care and seeking guidance from professionals can help loved ones maintain their well-being while continuing to support the person in recovery. Support networks also extend beyond family and friends. Peer support groups, both in person and online, offer a valuable space for individuals to connect with others who are experiencing similar challenges. These groups provide understanding, encouragement, and the shared experience of navigating recovery. In these communities, individuals can find solidarity and strength, which can be especially important during times of isolation or doubt. Friends, family, and support networks are integral to the recovery journey, providing love, strength, and hope. By fostering understanding, compassion, and healthy boundaries, they help individuals with anorexia find their way to healing and reclaim a balanced, fulfilling life. Finding community through support groups. Support groups play a crucial role in the recovery journey for individuals battling anorexia nervosa. These groups offer a sense of community, connection, and understanding that can be essential for individuals who may feel isolated or alone in their struggles. By joining a support group, individuals can share their experiences, gain insights, and find emotional support from others who are going through similar challenges. This sense of solidarity can significantly reduce the feelings of isolation that often accompany eating disorders and can provide motivation and strength in the recovery process. One of the primary benefits of support groups is the opportunity to connect with others who truly understand the struggles of anorexia. Unlike friends or family who may not fully grasp the complexities of the disorder, members of a support group have lived through similar experiences and can offer empathy, validation, and encouragement. This shared experience creates a unique bond among group members, allowing them to speak openly about their fears, frustrations, and triumphs in a non-judgmental environment. Support groups also provide a space for individuals to learn from one another's experiences. Hearing stories of others who have navigated recovery can inspire hope and remind individuals that healing is possible. Members can share coping strategies, offer practical advice, and discuss the challenges they've faced, which can help others feel more prepared and supported in their own recovery journeys. Additionally, support groups often include discussions led by trained facilitators who provide structure and guidance, ensuring that the group remains focused and supportive. For many individuals, the emotional support offered by a group can be invaluable. Recovery from anorexia can be a lonely and difficult process, but being part of a community provides a sense of belonging and reassurance that they are not alone. Group members can offer encouragement during difficult moments, celebrate small victories, and provide a sense of hope that recovery is possible, no matter how daunting the journey may seem. Support groups can be found in various settings, including in-person meetings, online forums, and through treatment centers or nonprofit organizations. Whether in-person or virtual, the opportunity to connect with others in similar circumstances can be a powerful and transformative aspect of recovery. Finding community through support groups offers individuals with anorexia the strength, validation, and inspiration to continue their healing process and move toward a healthier, more fulfilling life. Addressing body image distortions. One of the most challenging aspects of recovery from anorexia nervosa is addressing the pervasive body image distortions that fuel the disorder. For individuals struggling with anorexia, their perception of their body is often profoundly distorted, leading them to see themselves as overweight or undesirable, even when they are dangerously underweight. These body image distortions are not simply a reflection of appearance. They are deeply intertwined with emotions, thoughts, and the individual's sense of self-worth. Healing from anorexia involves learning to recognize and challenge these distorted perceptions while also cultivating a more balanced and compassionate relationship with one's body. The first step in addressing body image distortions is recognizing that the way the individual sees themselves is often inaccurate. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is one of the most effective therapeutic approaches for addressing body image issues. In therapy, individuals work to identify the negative thoughts and beliefs that contribute to their distorted self-image. These thoughts are often rooted in fear, insecurity, and perfectionism, and they can be so ingrained that they feel like an unchangeable part of the person's identity. Through therapy, individuals learn to challenge these thoughts, replacing them with more realistic and compassionate perspectives. Part of this process involves confronting the emotional and psychological triggers that exacerbate body image issues. Many people with anorexia have developed a deep sense of self-worth tied to their appearance or body size, believing that their value is contingent on meeting certain physical ideals. Therapy helps individuals explore these beliefs and develop healthier ways of defining their self-worth, focusing on internal qualities and personal growth rather than external appearance. This shift in mindset is essential for overcoming the mental grip of body image distortions. Another key element in addressing body image issues is gradual exposure to the body in a non-judgmental way. This can include activities like mirror work, where individuals slowly increase their comfort with looking at their reflection without criticism or shame. Other practices such as mindfulness or body-positive exercises, like yoga, encourage a mindful awareness of the body and its sensations without placing value on its appearance. These practices can help individuals reconnect with their bodies, fostering acceptance and appreciation for what the body can do rather than how it looks. Addressing body image distortions is a gradual, ongoing process in recovery. It requires patience, self-compassion, and consistent effort. With the right support and therapeutic strategies, individuals can reshape their perceptions of their bodies, leading to a healthier, more positive relationship with themselves and their physical health. Developing a healthy relationship with food. Developing a healthy relationship with food is one of the most significant steps in recovery from anorexia nervosa. For individuals struggling with this eating disorder, food often becomes a source of fear, control, and guilt rather than nourishment and enjoyment. Anorexia distorts the way food is perceived, leading individuals to view eating as a challenge or something to be avoided rather than embraced as a vital part of well-being. Rebuilding a healthy relationship with food involves shifting these negative associations, learning to nourish the body properly, and reconnecting with the natural balanced role food plays in physical and emotional health. The process of developing a healthier relationship with food often begins with the guidance of a dietitian or therapist who specializes in eating disorders. These professionals help individuals create a structured and balanced approach to eating, which is crucial for addressing malnutrition and restoring a healthy body weight. Gradual exposure to different foods, including those that may have been previously feared or avoided, is an important part of this process. The goal is to help individuals overcome food-related anxieties and rebuild trust in their body's hunger and fullness cues. A key aspect of healing is learning to view food as a source of nourishment rather than something that defines worth or control. Many individuals with anorexia struggle with perfectionism, associating food choices with moral value or self-control. Therapy helps individuals challenge these rigid beliefs and cultivate a more balanced mindset. Instead of categorizing food as good or bad, individuals learn to see it as a source of energy and sustenance that the body needs to function optimally. This mindset shift helps reduce guilt and shame associated with eating and encourages a more relaxed approach to food. Mindful eating practices can also be helpful in developing a healthier relationship with food. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and paying attention to the sensory experiences of eating, such as the taste, texture, and smell of food. This practice helps individuals focus on the experience of eating rather than becoming consumed by thoughts of calorie counting or body image. Over time, mindful eating can foster a sense of enjoyment and appreciation for food, reducing anxiety and promoting a positive relationship with nourishment. Developing a healthy relationship with food is a gradual process that requires patience and self-compassion. It is not just about reintroducing foods into the diet, but about reshaping the emotional and mental framework surrounding food. With the right support, individuals can learn to nourish their bodies without fear or guilt, building a foundation for long-term recovery and well-being. Coping with anxiety, stress, and negative emotions. Coping with anxiety, stress, and negative emotions is an essential part of the recovery process for individuals with anorexia nervosa. For many, the disorder is not only about food and body image, but is deeply intertwined with emotional struggles, such as intense feelings of anxiety, self-doubt, and distress. These emotions often drive disordered eating behaviors as a way of gaining control or managing overwhelming feelings. Learning to effectively cope with and manage these emotions is crucial for breaking the cycle of anorexia and developing healthier ways of responding to life's challenges. One of the most common emotional triggers for individuals with anorexia is anxiety. The pressure to meet high expectations, the fear of gaining weight, and the constant worry about food can be overwhelming. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is one of the most effective treatments for managing anxiety in the context of anorexia. CBT helps individuals identify negative thought patterns that contribute to anxiety and teaches them healthier, more realistic ways of thinking. By learning to challenge anxious thoughts and replace them with more balanced perspectives, individuals can reduce the emotional intensity of their fears and feel more in control. Mindfulness and relaxation techniques are also valuable tools for managing anxiety and stress. Practices such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or guided imagery can help individuals calm their minds and reduce the physical symptoms of anxiety. Mindfulness meditation, in particular, encourages individuals to stay present in the moment and acknowledge emotions without judgment or resistance. This can help reduce the power of negative emotions, allowing individuals to experience feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. Developing healthy coping strategies for stress is another important aspect of recovery. Rather than resorting to disordered behaviors like restricting food or overexercising, individuals can learn alternative methods for managing stress, such as physical activity, creative expression, or social support. Engaging in activities that bring joy or relaxation, such as art, music, or nature walks, can help reduce the impact of stress and provide a sense of calm. Finally, building emotional resilience is key to coping with negative emotions in a healthier way. Emotional resilience involves developing the ability to adapt to challenges and bounce back from setbacks. Therapy can help individuals develop greater self-compassion, learn to manage disappointment, and cultivate emotional strength, which in turn reduces the need to rely on disordered behaviors as a way of coping. Coping with anxiety, stress, and negative emotions is a crucial aspect of recovery from anorexia. With the right tools and support, individuals can learn to navigate their emotions more effectively, breaking free from the cycle of disordered eating and fostering a healthier, more balanced approach to life. Restoring physical health and reversing damage. Restoring physical health and reversing the damage caused by anorexia nervosa is a critical aspect of recovery. Anorexia can have severe and wide-ranging effects on the body, including malnutrition, organ dysfunction, hormonal imbalances, and weakened bones. For individuals recovering from anorexia, the first step in the healing process is ensuring the body receives the proper nourishment it needs to repair itself. Physical recovery is not just about regaining weight, but also about restoring strength, energy, and overall bodily function. One of the primary goals of physical recovery is to address malnutrition and restore essential nutrients to the body. Many individuals with anorexia are severely undernourished, and their bodies are deprived of vital vitamins, minerals, and calories. Refeeding is a delicate process that requires careful monitoring by medical professionals, such as doctors and dietitians, to ensure that individuals are gradually restoring weight and receiving the proper nutrients without overwhelming their system. This often involves a structured meal plan designed to gradually increase caloric intake and reintroduce a variety of food groups to restore balance. In addition to addressing nutritional needs, restoring physical health involves monitoring and supporting the body's systems that may have been impacted by the disorder. Anorexia can affect the cardiovascular system, leading to low blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, and even heart failure in severe cases. It can also impact bone health, leading to decreased bone density and an increased risk of fractures. For individuals recovering from anorexia, regular medical checkups are essential to monitor these conditions and provide any necessary treatments, such as supplements for bone health or medications to support heart function. Hormonal imbalances are another common issue for individuals with anorexia, particularly for women, who may experience disruptions in menstruation due to low body fat and nutritional deficiencies. Restoring a healthy body weight and nutritional intake can help restore hormonal balance, but this may take time and patience. Rebalancing hormones is an important part of regaining overall health and fertility in some cases. Finally, rebuilding strength and energy is a key goal in physical recovery. Many individuals with anorexia feel physically weak and fatigued due to malnutrition and prolonged restriction of food. A gradual return to physical activity, guided by a healthcare professional, can help rebuild muscle mass, improve stamina, and restore vitality. Restoring physical health and reversing the damage caused by anorexia requires time, patience, and professional support. Through a combination of proper nutrition, medical care, and gradual physical activity, individuals can heal their bodies, regain strength, and reclaim their health. It is a vital part of the recovery journey that supports not only the physical well-being, but also the overall emotional and psychological healing. Chapter 7: Tools and Techniques for Recovery. Recovery from anorexia nervosa is a multifaceted journey that requires a combination of therapeutic tools and techniques to address both the psychological and physical aspects of the disorder. While no single approach works for everyone, a variety of strategies can be employed to help individuals regain control over their lives, rebuild their relationship with food, and cultivate a healthier mindset. In this chapter, we explore some of the most effective tools and techniques for supporting recovery, offering hope and practical solutions for those struggling with anorexia. One of the most widely used and evidence-based techniques is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT helps individuals identify and challenge the negative thought patterns that contribute to anorexia, such as distorted beliefs about body image, food, and self-worth. Through this therapy, individuals learn healthier ways of thinking, which are crucial in overcoming the mental and emotional barriers that fuel the disorder. CBT also teaches coping strategies for managing stress, anxiety, and other negative emotions that often trigger disordered eating behaviors. Mindfulness practices have become an important tool in the recovery process. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It can help individuals become more aware of their thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, allowing them to respond to triggers in a more grounded and balanced way. Mindful eating, for example, encourages individuals to slow down and focus on the experience of eating, helping to reduce anxiety and rebuild a positive relationship with food. Regular mindfulness meditation can also reduce stress and improve emotional regulation, both of which are crucial for recovery. Nutrition education and meal planning are essential components of physical recovery. Working with a dietitian who specializes in eating disorders can help individuals regain a healthy relationship with food, understand their body's nutritional needs, and gradually reintroduce foods in a safe and structured manner. Meal planning can provide individuals with a sense of control and confidence as they rebuild their eating habits, ensuring they are consuming the right balance of nutrients to support their physical health. In addition to therapy and nutrition, support groups can offer invaluable emotional and social support. Connecting with others who have experienced similar struggles can reduce feelings of isolation and provide a sense of community. Support groups offer opportunities to share experiences, learn from others, and feel understood. Ultimately, recovery from anorexia is a personal journey, and the tools and techniques used must be tailored to each individual. With the right support and strategies, individuals can move toward a healthier, more balanced life, free from the constraints of the disorder. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and other therapies. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is one of the most widely used and effective treatments for anorexia nervosa, addressing the psychological factors that contribute to the disorder. At its core, CBT helps individuals identify and challenge the distorted thoughts and beliefs that fuel disordered eating behaviors. This therapy focuses on the relationship between thoughts, emotions, and actions, teaching individuals to recognize how negative thinking patterns impact their behaviors and, ultimately, their health. By changing these harmful thought patterns, individuals can develop healthier coping mechanisms and build a more positive self-image, which is crucial for long-term recovery. CBT is particularly effective because it provides individuals with practical tools to manage the cognitive distortions that often accompany anorexia. For example, people with anorexia often have a distorted body image, seeing themselves as overweight, even when they are dangerously underweight. CBT helps challenge these inaccurate perceptions by encouraging individuals to examine the evidence for and against their beliefs and replace them with more balanced, realistic thoughts. Additionally, CBT addresses the underlying anxiety, perfectionism, and self-worth issues that drive restrictive eating behaviors, teaching individuals how to manage these emotions without resorting to disordered eating as a coping mechanism. In addition to CBT, several other therapeutic approaches are used in the treatment of anorexia. Dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, is another form of cognitive behavioral therapy that combines elements of CBT with mindfulness techniques. DBT is particularly helpful for individuals who struggle with intense emotions, self-harm behaviors, or difficulties with emotional regulation. It helps individuals learn to tolerate distress, improve emotional regulation, and build interpersonal effectiveness, which can be beneficial in managing the emotional challenges that often accompany anorexia. Family-based therapy, FBT, also known as the Maudsley approach, is an evidence-based therapy particularly effective for adolescents with anorexia. FBT involves the family in the recovery process, with parents taking an active role in supporting their child's recovery. The therapy focuses on refeeding and restoring weight while also addressing the family dynamics that may contribute to the disorder. It helps parents and caregivers learn how to provide appropriate support, set boundaries, and create a positive environment for recovery. Other therapeutic approaches include interpersonal therapy, IPT, which focuses on improving interpersonal relationships and resolving interpersonal conflicts that may contribute to the development of anorexia, and acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, which encourages individuals to accept difficult thoughts and emotions while committing to behaviors aligned with their values. By combining CBT with other therapies and support, individuals can develop a comprehensive treatment plan that addresses the many psychological and emotional facets of anorexia, offering a path to healing and recovery. Journaling, art therapy, and mindfulness practices. Journaling, art therapy, and mindfulness practices are powerful tools that can complement traditional therapies in the recovery process from anorexia nervosa. These approaches offer individuals creative and introspective ways to express emotions, gain insight into their thoughts, and foster emotional healing. Each practice provides a unique pathway to recovery, helping individuals cope with the psychological and emotional challenges that contribute to the disorder. Journaling is a simple yet effective tool for self-reflection and emotional processing. Writing down thoughts, feelings, and experiences can help individuals better understand the underlying emotions and triggers behind their disordered eating behaviors. For those struggling with anorexia, journaling offers us an outlet to express frustrations, fears, and desires that may be difficult to verbalize. By putting their thoughts on paper, individuals can begin to identify patterns in their emotions, challenge negative thinking, and track progress over time. Journaling can also serve as a way to set goals, document recovery milestones, and track positive changes, reinforcing a sense of accomplishment and hope. Art therapy provides another creative outlet for emotional expression and healing. This form of therapy uses various artistic mediums, such as drawing, painting, and sculpture, to help individuals communicate feelings and experiences that may be difficult to express through words. Art therapy encourages individuals to explore their inner world without judgment, providing a safe space to confront the emotional wounds that anorexia often masks. It can also foster a sense of accomplishment and self-expression, helping individuals reconnect with their creativity and develop a more positive self-image. Art therapy can be particularly helpful for those who find it hard to articulate complex emotions, allowing them to communicate their inner struggles in a nonverbal way. Mindfulness practices, which focus on being present in the moment without judgment, can be invaluable for individuals recovering from anorexia. Mindfulness encourages a deep awareness of thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations, helping individuals reconnect with their bodies in a healthy and non-threatening way. Mindful eating, in particular, teaches individuals to slow down and savor their food, paying attention to the sensory experience of eating rather than being consumed by thoughts of calories, weight, or self-criticism. Regular mindfulness meditation can help reduce anxiety, improve emotional regulation, and cultivate a sense of calm amidst the challenges of recovery. Together, journaling, art therapy, and mindfulness practices can provide individuals with the tools they need to explore their emotions, heal from past trauma, and rebuild a healthier relationship with themselves and food. These techniques offer a holistic approach to recovery, supporting not just the mind and body, but also the emotional and spiritual aspects of healing. Creating a personal recovery plan. Creating a personal recovery plan is a crucial step in overcoming anorexia nervosa and rebuilding a healthy, balanced life. Recovery from anorexia is not a linear process, and each individual's journey is unique. A personalized recovery plan provides structure, direction, and a sense of ownership over the healing process. It serves as a roadmap for addressing both the psychological and physical aspects of the disorder, helping individuals set achievable goals, track progress, and stay motivated throughout their recovery journey. A personal recovery plan begins with a clear understanding of one's individual needs and challenges. This requires honest reflection and self-awareness, acknowledging the emotional, physical, and behavioral factors contributing to the disorder. It's important to consider specific areas of focus, such as improving body image, managing anxiety, restoring nutritional health, or addressing trauma. The plan should include both short-term and long-term goals, as well as concrete steps for achieving them. For instance, short-term goals might include eating 3 balanced meals a day or engaging in a daily mindfulness practice, while long-term goals could focus on developing a sustainable relationship with food or reaching a healthy body weight. Another essential component of a personal recovery plan is building a strong support system. Recovery is not something to be done alone, and surrounding oneself with understanding and compassionate individuals can make a significant difference. This may include family members, friends, therapists, dietitians, and support groups. The recovery plan should outline the role each support person or group will play in the process, ensuring that individuals feel supported and encouraged throughout their journey. Regular check-ins with these supporters can help maintain motivation and provide accountability. An important part of a personal recovery plan is developing coping strategies for managing triggers, stress, and negative emotions. Identifying triggers, whether they are specific situations, people, or internal feelings, can help individuals prepare for difficult moments and respond in healthier ways. The plan might include strategies such as journaling, practicing deep breathing, or engaging in a hobby to help manage anxiety or stress. By having these tools readily available, individuals can feel more equipped to face challenges without resorting to disordered behaviors. Ultimately, a personal recovery plan is a living document that evolves as the individual progresses through their journey. It should be flexible, allowing for adjustments as circumstances change or new insights are gained. By creating and following a personalized recovery plan, individuals can take control of their healing process, stay focused on their goals, and foster long-term recovery from anorexia. Building confidence and self-worth. Building confidence and self-worth is a critical aspect of recovery from anorexia nervosa. For many individuals struggling with the disorder, low self-esteem and a negative self-image are deeply ingrained. These issues often drive the need for control over food and body weight as a way to feel valued or worthy. Rebuilding self-worth and fostering a positive sense of identity are essential steps in healing, enabling individuals to move beyond the disorder and embrace a healthier, more balanced life. The process of building confidence begins with challenging the negative beliefs and thoughts that have been internalized over time. For many individuals with anorexia, self-worth is often tied to physical appearance, weight, or outward achievements. A key part of recovery is learning to separate self-worth from these external factors. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, plays a vital role in this process, helping individuals recognize and reframe the distorted thoughts that contribute to feelings of inadequacy. By identifying and challenging negative self-talk, individuals can start to replace these thoughts with more balanced and compassionate perspectives, recognizing their inherent value beyond appearance. Self-compassion is another crucial element in rebuilding self-worth. Often, individuals with anorexia are highly self-critical, believing that they are not enough unless they meet certain standards. Practicing self-compassion involves treating oneself with kindness, understanding, and patience, especially during difficult moments. It means acknowledging that recovery is a challenging journey, and setbacks are a normal part of healing. By cultivating a compassionate attitude toward oneself, individuals can reduce feelings of shame or guilt, which may otherwise undermine their progress. Another important step in building confidence is focusing on achievements beyond appearance or weight. This could involve recognizing personal strengths, such as creativity, intelligence, kindness, or resilience. Setting small, achievable goals that promote personal growth, whether related to hobbies, relationships, or work, can help individuals rediscover their sense of accomplishment and worth. Celebrating these successes, no matter how small, fosters a sense of pride and reinforces the idea that self-worth is derived from qualities far beyond physical appearance. Finally, surrounding oneself with positive, supportive individuals can play a significant role in rebuilding confidence. Healthy relationships with family, friends, and support groups can provide validation, encouragement, and a reminder of one's worth. Through these relationships, individuals can experience love and acceptance that fosters a sense of belonging and reinforces their own self-esteem. Incorporating these strategies into daily life helps individuals build confidence and self-worth that are not contingent on appearance or external validation. Over time, this inner strength supports long-term recovery, allowing individuals to embrace their authentic selves and live more fulfilling, healthy lives. Chapter 8: Navigating Challenges in Recovery. Recovery from anorexia nervosa is a complex and ongoing process, and like any journey, it comes with its challenges. As individuals work toward healing, they may face setbacks, emotional obstacles, and moments of doubt. Understanding and preparing for these challenges is crucial to sustaining long-term recovery. In this chapter, we explore some of the most common hurdles encountered in recovery and provide strategies for navigating these difficult moments. One of the most significant challenges in recovery is dealing with setbacks. Progress in healing is rarely linear, and setbacks, whether physical, emotional, or behavioral, can feel discouraging. Weight restoration, for instance, may take time, and there may be moments when a person feels tempted to revert to old, unhealthy habits. These setbacks can trigger feelings of failure, self-criticism, and hopelessness. However, it's important to remember that setbacks are a normal part of the recovery process. They do not erase the progress made or define the overall journey. Acknowledging setbacks with compassion and using them as learning opportunities can help individuals stay resilient and move forward. Another common challenge is the battle with internalized thoughts about body image. Even after making significant progress, negative body image can persist, and individuals may continue to see themselves as overweight or unworthy. This struggle often requires ongoing work in therapy to address the deep-rooted beliefs and cognitive distortions that fuel these negative perceptions. It is essential to be patient with oneself and acknowledge that healing body image takes time. Practices such as mindfulness and self-compassion can help individuals shift their focus away from appearance-based thinking and toward a healthier, more balanced view of themselves. Social situations can also pose a significant challenge in recovery. Attending social gatherings that involve food, such as family meals, can be anxiety-provoking for those recovering from anorexia. The pressure to conform to societal expectations around food or body image can trigger stress or old behaviors. In these situations, it's important to have coping strategies in place. This might include having a trusted friend or family member for support, practicing relaxation techniques, or preparing oneself mentally for these events. Over time, individuals can learn to navigate social situations with greater confidence and less fear. Lastly, maintaining motivation throughout recovery can be difficult, especially during times when progress seems slow. Recovery is not just about changing behaviors, it's about shifting deeply held beliefs and emotions. Staying motivated requires setting realistic, meaningful goals and recognizing the small victories along the way. Building a support system that offers encouragement, accountability, and understanding can provide a strong foundation to stay committed to the process. Navigating challenges in recovery requires resilience, self-compassion, and the willingness to continue moving forward, even in the face of difficulties. By acknowledging these challenges and approaching them with a proactive, patient mindset, individuals can continue to make progress and build a healthier, more fulfilling life. Dealing with setbacks and relapses. Setbacks and relapses are an inevitable part of the recovery journey from anorexia nervosa. While they can be disheartening and emotionally challenging, it is important to view them as part of the healing process rather than signs of failure. Recovery is not a straight path, and progress often involves taking steps forward, followed by moments of difficulty. Understanding how to manage setbacks and relapses with compassion and resilience can help individuals stay committed to their recovery and continue moving toward long-term healing. A setback in recovery may occur for a variety of reasons, such as emotional stress, a challenging situation, or the resurfacing of old patterns. A relapse may involve returning to restrictive eating behaviors, obsessive thoughts about food or weight, or withdrawing from treatment. These setbacks can trigger feelings of shame, guilt, and hopelessness, making it difficult to keep moving forward. However, it is crucial to remember that one setback does not undo the progress made. Each moment is an opportunity to learn, reflect, and recommit to recovery. The first step in dealing with a setback or relapse is acknowledging it without self-judgment. It is easy to fall into the trap of blaming oneself or feeling that recovery is impossible. However, recovery is a process that takes time, and setbacks are not indicative of failure. Instead of focusing on self-blame, individuals should focus on understanding the underlying reasons for the relapse. Whether it's emotional stress, unresolved trauma, or external pressures, and use this insight to inform future actions. Another key aspect of navigating setbacks is reaching out for support. During difficult times, it is crucial to lean on the people who are part of your recovery team, including therapists, dietitians, family members, and friends. Talking openly about the challenges faced can provide emotional relief, and receiving guidance from professionals can help identify strategies for overcoming the relapse. Additionally, support groups offer a sense of community, reminding individuals that they are not alone in their struggles. It is also important to revisit and adjust one's recovery plan when setbacks occur. This may involve setting new, more achievable goals or exploring new coping mechanisms. Strengthening the foundation of self-compassion and mindfulness practices can help in reducing the emotional intensity associated with setbacks, allowing individuals to navigate these moments with a greater sense of calm and understanding. Ultimately, setbacks and relapses do not define the outcome of recovery. By approaching these challenges with patience, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to self-compassion, individuals can continue on the path to healing, emerging stronger and more resilient. Every step, whether forward or backward, is part of the journey toward lasting recovery. Managing external triggers and stressful situations. External triggers and stressful situations are significant challenges in the recovery from anorexia nervosa. These triggers can often feel overwhelming and can activate old thought patterns and behaviors, making it difficult to maintain progress. Whether the trigger is a stressful event, a certain social situation, or an environment that reinforces negative body image, learning how to manage these triggers is essential for sustaining recovery. By developing effective coping strategies and strengthening emotional resilience, individuals can navigate these challenges and reduce the likelihood of relapse. One of the first steps in managing external triggers is identifying them. Triggers can vary widely from person to person, but they often involve situations that evoke anxiety, self-doubt, or the desire to engage in disordered behaviors. These might include family gatherings centered around food, pressure to conform to societal beauty standards, or stressful life events like exams or relationship difficulties. By recognizing these triggers, individuals can anticipate them and plan ways to manage them before they escalate. A key strategy for dealing with triggers is to practice grounding techniques and mindfulness. Grounding exercises help individuals stay present in the moment rather than becoming overwhelmed by their emotions or thoughts. Simple techniques, such as focusing on the breath, observing surroundings, or engaging the senses, can help shift attention away from the trigger and reduce the intensity of emotional reactions. Mindfulness, similarly, teaches individuals to notice their thoughts without judgment, allowing them to acknowledge and release negative emotions rather than acting on them. In social situations where external pressure to conform to eating or body image expectations may arise, it is important to set boundaries and seek support. For example, individuals recovering from anorexia may choose to decline certain social invitations or request accommodations when it comes to food choices. Communicating openly with trusted friends and family members about these needs can help reduce anxiety and create a more supportive environment. Having a support person present during challenging social situations can provide reassurance and act as a buffer against negative influences. When faced with stressful life events, it is essential to have a toolbox of coping mechanisms that promote emotional regulation and self-care. Stressful situations can often lead to feelings of helplessness, which may trigger disordered behaviors as a way of regaining control. Instead of turning to food-related behaviors, individuals can engage in healthier stress relief practices, such as physical exercise, journaling, art therapy, or seeking professional support. These activities help to release pent-up emotions, process difficult experiences, and restore a sense of calm. Ultimately, managing external triggers in stressful situations requires self-awareness, preparation, and emotional resilience. While triggers may never completely disappear, developing effective strategies and coping skills can empower individuals to stay grounded in their recovery journey, even when faced with challenging circumstances. Balancing independence with support. Achieving recovery from anorexia nervosa involves a delicate balance between gaining independence and receiving support. While independence is crucial for long-term healing and personal growth, recovery is rarely a journey that can be navigated alone. The need for support, whether emotional, psychological, or physical, remains vital, especially during the early stages of recovery. Striking the right balance between self-reliance and the willingness to ask for help is essential for sustainable healing, allowing individuals to regain control over their lives while ensuring they do not isolate themselves from the resources and people that will guide them through difficult moments. Independence in recovery is about reclaiming control over one's choices and actions, especially when it comes to behaviors related to food, body image, and self-worth. As individuals progress in their healing, they gradually learn to trust themselves and their instincts, making decisions that align with their long-term well-being rather than the restrictive habits tied to anorexia. This independence is essential for building self-confidence, as it reinforces the belief that one has the ability to make healthy choices and live a fulfilling life outside of the constraints of the disorder. It is about feeling empowered to take ownership of one's journey and to actively engage in the process of recovery, setting goals, and taking steps toward personal growth. However, full independence, especially in the early phases of recovery, can be unrealistic and potentially dangerous. Anorexia often thrives in isolation, and many individuals find it difficult to challenge their disordered thoughts and behaviors without the guidance of others. Support plays an integral role in providing the structure, encouragement, and expertise needed during recovery. Family, friends, therapists, dietitians, and support groups all offer different forms of assistance that can help individuals stay grounded and focused. Reaching out for help when needed, whether to manage a challenging situation or to navigate moments of doubt, is a sign of strength, not weakness. The challenge lies in recognizing when to rely on external support and when to lean into one's own capabilities. As recovery progresses, individuals gradually learn to discern which situations require outside help and which they can handle independently. This process involves continuous self-reflection and developing the skills to evaluate one's emotional state and needs. It may mean asking for help during a stressful time or allowing a therapist to provide guidance, while other moments may involve applying the coping skills one has learned in therapy to manage difficult emotions on their own. Ultimately, balancing independence with support is about fostering self-reliance while also acknowledging that healing is not a solitary experience. By integrating the wisdom and encouragement of a supportive network with the confidence to make empowered choices, individuals can create a recovery plan that reflects both their autonomy and their need for connection. This balance fosters long-term healing and a sense of fulfillment, enabling individuals to move beyond the disorder and embrace a healthier, more meaningful life. Overcoming the fear of weight gain. One of the most profound and challenging aspects of recovery from anorexia nervosa is overcoming the intense fear of weight gain. This fear is deeply ingrained in the disorder, often serving as a central motivator for restrictive eating behaviors and distorted body image. For many individuals, the idea of gaining weight can evoke anxiety, panic, and a sense of loss of control. However, confronting and gradually overcoming this fear is a crucial step in the journey to recovery, allowing individuals to move past the limitations of the disorder and embrace a healthier relationship with their body and food. The fear of weight gain often stems from distorted beliefs about weight, body image, and self-worth. Anorexia creates a perception that thinness is synonymous with success, beauty, and control, while weight gain is perceived as failure, loss of control, or unworthiness. This belief can be so deeply rooted that even the thought of gaining weight feels overwhelming. The fear may trigger an internal struggle between the desire for recovery and the powerful pull of anorexia's grip, making it difficult to take the necessary steps to heal. To begin overcoming this fear, it is essential to understand its underlying psychological and emotional components. The fear of weight gain is often linked to anxieties about self-worth, societal expectations, and the need for control. Gaining weight can be seen as relinquishing control, which can feel threatening for someone with anorexia. Working with a therapist to address these beliefs and challenge the underlying fears is a key part of the recovery process. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT in particular, can help individuals identify and reframe distorted thoughts about weight and body image, replacing them with healthier, more realistic perspectives. Another important aspect of overcoming the fear of weight gain is to reframe the concept of health. Weight gain in recovery is not about conforming to societal beauty ideals or striving for an arbitrary number on the scale. Rather, it is about restoring physical health, rebuilding muscle mass, and providing the body with the nourishment it needs to function optimally. Reorienting the focus from appearance to overall well-being can help shift the perspective on weight gain as a necessary and positive step toward healing. It is crucial to recognize that weight restoration is not a failure, but a sign of progress in recovery. Support plays a significant role in overcoming this fear. Family, friends, and professionals can provide reassurance and encouragement, helping individuals navigate moments of doubt or anxiety about weight gain. Additionally, creating a safe and supportive environment where the focus is on health rather than appearance can help reduce the emotional distress associated with gaining weight. Finally, taking gradual steps toward reintroducing food and increasing caloric intake can help desensitize the fear of weight gain. These steps, when approached with professional guidance and support, allow individuals to slowly rebuild their trust in their body's ability to regulate weight and health without the extreme control enforced by anorexia. Overcoming the fear of weight gain is a difficult but essential aspect of recovery. By addressing the underlying fears, reframing beliefs about weight, and embracing the process of healing with support and patience, individuals can gradually free themselves from the restrictive thinking of anorexia and begin to live a more balanced, fulfilling life. Chapter 9: Reclaiming Your Life. Reclaiming your life after anorexia nervosa is a transformative and empowering process. As you progress in recovery, the goal shifts from simply managing symptoms to fully embracing a life that is rich, vibrant, and free from the constraints of the disorder. This phase of recovery is about rediscovering who you are beyond the influence of anorexia, embracing your individuality, and building a future where you can live with purpose, confidence, and fulfillment. The first step in reclaiming your life is understanding that recovery does not mean merely returning to the person you were before anorexia. Rather, it involves a deep transformation, one where you integrate the lessons learned during recovery and build a new sense of self. You are no longer defined by the disorder, but rather by your strengths, passions, and aspirations. It's a journey of self-discovery where you uncover your personal values, goals, and desires that are aligned with a healthier and more authentic version of yourself. As you reclaim your life, it's important to focus on the areas that were once overshadowed by anorexia. Many individuals with anorexia have spent years preoccupied with food, weight, and appearance, often at the expense of other aspects of their lives. Recovery provides an opportunity to reconnect with hobbies, relationships, and goals that may have been neglected. Whether it's pursuing a career path, engaging in creative outlets, traveling, or simply enjoying time with loved ones, rediscovering these aspects of life can bring a sense of joy and purpose that goes far beyond physical appearance or eating habits. A key part of reclaiming your life is also learning to navigate the world with a renewed sense of self-worth. Anorexia often causes individuals to internalize negative messages about their bodies and abilities, leading to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. In recovery, it is vital to challenge these self-limiting beliefs and cultivate a positive, realistic view of yourself. This may involve practicing self-compassion, engaging in positive affirmations, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Rebuilding confidence in your body, your abilities, and your future is essential for embracing the fullness of life. It's also crucial to build and maintain healthy relationships during this phase. Anorexia often isolates individuals from others, but as you move toward recovery, reconnecting with supportive friends, family, and peers can be a source of strength. Open communication, setting boundaries, and seeking mutual understanding within relationships allow you to foster meaningful connections that are based on trust and shared respect. Ultimately, reclaiming your life after anorexia is about moving forward with intention and resilience. It's a process that takes time, and there will be ups and downs along the way. However, by focusing on self-empowerment, rediscovering your passions, and rebuilding your sense of self-worth, you can create a life that is not only free from anorexia, but filled with possibility, joy, and hope. The journey toward a reclaimed life is one of freedom, authenticity, and the realization that recovery is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a whole new chapter. Rediscovering passions and hobbies. One of the most rewarding aspects of recovery from anorexia nervosa is the opportunity to rediscover passions and hobbies that may have been sidelined during the struggle with the disorder. For many individuals, anorexia can consume so much mental and emotional energy that other interests and activities are neglected or even forgotten. As you heal and regain a sense of balance, reconnecting with the things that once brought joy and fulfillment is an essential step toward reclaiming your life. Rediscovering passions and hobbies helps to rebuild self-esteem, provide a sense of purpose, and reestablish a healthy relationship with oneself. The process of rediscovery often begins with recognizing the areas of life that were neglected during the struggle with anorexia. These may include activities that you once enjoyed before the disorder took hold, such as painting, playing a musical instrument, writing, dancing, hiking, or engaging in social activities. It's important to approach this process with patience, understanding that your relationship with these activities may have changed over time. What once brought joy may feel distant or even uncomfortable at first, but with time and effort, these activities can once again become sources of pleasure and self-expression. Part of the healing process is also about reclaiming the freedom to engage in activities without the constant preoccupation with weight, food, or appearance. Anorexia often distorts your relationship with your body and mind, limiting your ability to fully experience life. As you move forward in recovery, there is an opportunity to engage in activities for the sheer joy of doing them, not as a means of measuring success or self-worth. This shift in perspective allows you to find fulfillment in the process of doing something you love, rather than in the outcome or external validation it may bring. Incorporating new interests or hobbies into your life is another way to enhance the recovery process. Sometimes, The act of exploring new passions helps to break free from the grip of anorexia. Whether it's learning a new skill, joining a class, or trying something completely different, these experiences provide an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. New hobbies can also provide a sense of accomplishment and excitement, which can boost confidence and help you focus on your personal growth rather than old habits or negative thoughts. Rediscovering passions and hobbies also fosters a healthier relationship with time and self-care. Activities that once seemed like a luxury, such as taking time to relax, pursue creative endeavors, or spend time with friends, are vital for maintaining emotional well-being. As you engage in these activities, you reconnect with a sense of purpose and joy that is rooted in something deeper than appearance or achievement. These passions become a way to nurture your mind, body, and spirit, contributing to a holistic approach to healing. Ultimately, rediscovering passions and hobbies is about reclaiming the parts of yourself that were once overshadowed by anorexia. It's a journey of reconnecting with what makes you feel alive and engaged with the world. By embracing these passions, you build a foundation for a future that is rich in purpose, creativity, and self-expression, furthering your recovery and reinforcing the strength you've gained along the way. Building healthy relationships. Building healthy relationships is a fundamental aspect of recovery from anorexia nervosa, as it fosters a sense of connection, support, and mutual respect. Throughout the struggle with anorexia, many individuals experience isolation and emotional distance from others, whether due to the disorder's demands or the emotional toll it takes. As you progress in recovery, it becomes essential to rebuild or create relationships that are based on trust, understanding, and genuine care. These relationships can provide the strength and encouragement needed to maintain recovery and move forward in a fulfilling life. One of the first steps in building healthy relationships is recognizing the importance of emotional openness. Anorexia often thrives in secrecy, with individuals hiding their struggles from others. Recovery, however, involves breaking down these walls and being open about one's feelings, fears, and challenges. This does not mean oversharing or seeking validation from others, but rather allowing for honest conversations with trusted individuals. Emotional vulnerability creates deeper connections and helps build trust with others, allowing them to offer the support and understanding you need during difficult moments. Another key to building healthy relationships is setting boundaries. During recovery, it is important to protect your well-being by establishing clear boundaries that prevent harmful or triggering behaviors. This might include limiting exposure to certain conversations about appearance, body image, or weight, as these topics can negatively affect your recovery process. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect for personal boundaries, and learning to communicate your needs is essential. It also means surrounding yourself with people who respect these boundaries and are willing to create an environment of positivity and encouragement. Equally important is finding a support system that nurtures growth and healing. Healthy relationships in recovery are built on understanding, compassion, and non-judgmental care. Whether it's a family member, friend, therapist, or support group, these individuals can provide reassurance, encouragement, and practical advice as you navigate recovery's ups and downs. A strong support system serves as a reminder that you are not alone in your journey and that you deserve love, care, and respect. As you rebuild relationships, it's also vital to surround yourself with people who have a positive and healthy view of body image, food, and mental health. The right social circle encourages balance and well-being, not perfection. These people help reinforce a sense of worth that is not tied to appearance or external validation, reminding you that your value is inherent and not dependent on your size, shape, or any other superficial measure. Finally, part of building healthy relationships is learning to give and receive love and care in ways that nourish the soul. These relationships are rooted in mutual respect, kindness, and the shared goal of well-being. As you develop these connections, you create a network that supports your growth, reinforces your recovery, and enhances your emotional and psychological health. Building healthy relationships is an ongoing process that takes time, effort, and a commitment to your well-being. By embracing vulnerability, setting boundaries, and surrounding yourself with supportive people, you lay the foundation for deeper, more meaningful connections that help sustain your recovery and enrich your life. Living authentically and letting go of perfectionism. Living authentically and letting go of perfectionism are key aspects of long-term recovery from anorexia nervosa. For many individuals struggling with the disorder, perfectionism becomes a core driving force. The constant pursuit of an idealized version of oneself, whether through rigid control of food, body image, or behavior, creates an illusion of safety and success. However, this drive for perfection often leads to anxiety, dissatisfaction, and a disconnection from one's true self. Learning to embrace imperfection, accept who you are, and live authentically is an essential step in healing and reclaiming your life. The journey toward living authentically begins with self-awareness. Anorexia often distorts your perception of who you are, creating a narrow view that defines your worth based on appearance, control, and the pursuit of unattainable standards. To live authentically, it is necessary to reconnect with your true values, passions, and desires, those aspects of yourself that are not tied to external expectations or standards. This involves letting go of the voice of anorexia, which often whispers that you are only valuable if you meet certain ideals, and instead embracing the fullness of your humanity. Living authentically is about embracing your individuality and being true to yourself, regardless of societal pressures or self-imposed standards. Letting go of perfectionism is a powerful part of this process. Perfectionism often masks underlying fears of inadequacy, failure, and judgment. When striving for perfection, there is little room for self-compassion or growth, as the focus remains solely on achieving an ideal that can never be fully realized. In recovery, it's crucial to challenge the belief that perfection is the goal. Recovery itself is inherently messy and nonlinear. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and unexpected challenges. But embracing these imperfections as part of the process allows you to move forward with greater resilience and self-compassion. Letting go of perfectionism means accepting that mistakes, setbacks, and vulnerabilities are natural parts of life and are essential for growth and healing. Living authentically also involves releasing the need for external validation. Many individuals with anorexia seek approval or recognition from others, often tying their worth to their appearance or achievements. In recovery, it is important to shift the focus inward and learn to validate yourself from within. This process requires developing self-compassion, understanding that you deserve love and respect simply for being who you are, not for how you look or what you accomplish. One of the most freeing aspects of letting go of perfectionism is the ability to embrace self-love and self-acceptance. In doing so, you open the door to living a life that is grounded in authenticity, where you can pursue your interests, make mistakes, and enjoy life's pleasures without the constant pressure to be perfect. By choosing authenticity over perfection, you give yourself permission to live freely, fully, and joyously. This shift in perspective allows you to build a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling, grounded in your true self and free from the constraints of anorexia's rigid standards. Celebrating progress and milestones. Celebrating progress and milestones in recovery from anorexia nervosa is an essential practice for reinforcing self-compassion, maintaining motivation, and acknowledging the hard work and resilience required throughout the healing journey. Recovery is often a long, non-linear process, with numerous challenges, setbacks, and triumphs along the way. Recognizing and celebrating these milestones, no matter how small they may seem, serves as a reminder of your strength and commitment to reclaiming your life. These celebrations are not just about the end result. They are about acknowledging the growth, effort, and courage it takes to move forward step by step. The first aspect of celebrating progress is understanding that milestones are not always about achieving perfection or reaching a specific goal. In the context of anorexia recovery, progress is often measured in less tangible but deeply meaningful ways. It could be as simple as making it through a difficult day without turning to disordered behaviors, learning to eat a meal without guilt or anxiety, or practicing self-compassion when you make a mistake. These moments are victories, and recognizing them helps to reinforce the positive changes taking place. It is important to honor the small wins as they accumulate over time, contributing to overall recovery and healing. Celebrating milestones also involves reflecting on the personal growth you have experienced. Anorexia often holds individuals in a state of emotional and mental rigidity, limiting their ability to experience life fully. As recovery progresses, it's not just about regaining physical health, but also developing emotional resilience, self-awareness, and a deeper understanding of yourself. Celebrating this growth, whether through self-reflection, talking with a supportive person, or engaging in activities that bring joy, helps reinforce the sense that you are moving toward a healthier, more authentic version of yourself. Recognizing these changes fosters a deeper connection to your recovery and a sense of pride in how far you have come. In addition, celebrating progress provides motivation for the road ahead. Recovery can often feel like an uphill battle, and it's easy to get discouraged, especially during setbacks. However, acknowledging your progress helps to remind you that you are making strides, even when it feels like the path is unclear. This recognition fuels your motivation, reminding you that recovery is worth the effort and that each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a life free from anorexia's grip. Celebrating milestones can also be a communal experience. Involving supportive friends, family, or a recovery team in your celebrations creates a shared sense of achievement. These people have witnessed your struggles and have been part of your journey, and celebrating with them helps strengthen your support system. Whether through a small gathering, a heartfelt conversation, or simply sharing a moment of pride, these celebrations are an opportunity to affirm that you are not alone in this process. Ultimately, celebrating progress and milestones is about honoring your journey, no matter where you are in recovery. It's a way to acknowledge the hard work, perseverance, and courage required to heal, and to remind yourself that you are deserving of happiness, health, and fulfillment. By taking the time to recognize and celebrate each victory, you build a foundation of self-compassion, strength, and hope, reinforcing your commitment to living a life beyond anorexia. Chapter 10: Support for Loved Ones. Supporting a loved one through recovery from anorexia nervosa can be an incredibly challenging yet rewarding experience. It is often a journey filled with moments of frustration, confusion, and heartache, but it can also lead to deep emotional growth, connection, and healing. The role of family members, friends, and loved ones is crucial in recovery, as they can provide the emotional support, encouragement, and understanding necessary to help the individual navigate the complexities of healing. However, it is important to recognize that supporting someone with anorexia requires patience, compassion, and a willingness to educate oneself about the nature of the disorder. One of the most important things loved ones can do is educate themselves about anorexia nervosa. Understanding the disorder, its psychological, emotional, and physical components, can help demystify the behaviors and responses that may seem confusing or frustrating. Anorexia is not simply about food or appearance. It is a complex mental health condition that involves deeply ingrained patterns of thought and behavior. By learning about these dynamics, loved ones are better equipped to offer the right kind of support, avoid common misunderstandings, and approach the recovery process with more empathy and sensitivity. Another key element in supporting someone with anorexia is fostering an environment of open communication. It is natural for individuals with anorexia to hide their struggles or resist help, often due to feelings of shame, fear, or denial. However, creating a safe and non-judgmental space where open dialogue can occur is essential. Loved ones should be patient, listen without judgment, and approach conversations with kindness. It's important to avoid forcing the individual to talk about their disorder if they are not ready, but gently encourage them to express their feelings when they feel comfortable. Reassuring them that they are not alone and that their feelings are valid can make a significant difference in their willingness to engage in recovery. While it is essential to offer support, it is equally important for loved ones to set boundaries. Watching someone struggle with anorexia can be painful, and it can be tempting to try to fix or control the situation. However, loved ones must recognize that recovery is ultimately the responsibility of the individual. Offering support does not mean taking over the recovery process or enabling disordered behaviors. Setting boundaries and encouraging the individual to take ownership of their healing process helps foster a sense of autonomy and responsibility. Additionally, it is vital for loved ones to take care of their own emotional well-being. Supporting someone with anorexia can be emotionally taxing, and loved ones may experience feelings of helplessness, frustration, or burnout. It is important to acknowledge these feelings and seek support from therapists, support groups, or other resources. By taking care of their own mental health, loved ones are better equipped to offer sustainable, compassionate support. Ultimately, supporting a loved one through anorexia recovery is about being a consistent, compassionate presence. It involves offering unconditional love, providing encouragement, respecting boundaries, and educating oneself about the disorder. While the journey can be difficult, the strength and commitment of loved ones play a crucial role in the individual's recovery and well-being. With patience and understanding, loved ones can help create an environment that fosters healing, growth, and hope for a healthier future. Understanding what your loved one is going through. Supporting a loved one with anorexia nervosa requires a deep understanding of what they are experiencing on both a psychological and emotional level. Anorexia is not simply a matter of food restrictions or appearance. It is a complex mental health disorder rooted in distorted thinking, emotional pain, and a desperate need for control. Those struggling with anorexia often feel trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, shame, and fear, which makes recovery feel overwhelming, if not impossible. As a loved one, understanding these inner struggles can help you offer more compassionate, empathetic, and effective support. At its core, anorexia is driven by a profound sense of insecurity and an overwhelming desire for control. Individuals with anorexia often feel as though their lives are out of control, and restricting food intake is one way they attempt to regain a sense of power over themselves and their environment. However, this control is illusory and can spiral into an obsession, leaving the individual feeling increasingly disconnected from their true needs and emotions. This desire for control can be deeply intertwined with perfectionism, where the individual believes that only by achieving a certain body size or shape will they be deemed acceptable, worthy, or loved. The emotional experience of anorexia is equally important to understand. Many individuals with the disorder are dealing with underlying emotional struggles such as anxiety, depression, or trauma. The act of restricting food is often a coping mechanism for these emotions, as it provides a temporary escape or sense of relief. However, it does not address the root causes of the pain, which leads to a continuous cycle of emotional turmoil. This emotional distress can lead to withdrawal from relationships, isolation, and a lack of engagement with the outside world, further deepening the individual's sense of loneliness and fear. Additionally, those with anorexia often experience a distorted body image, where they see themselves as overweight, regardless of their actual size. This perception is not simply about vanity, but is rooted in a deep-seated belief that their worth is tied to their appearance. The fear of gaining weight can be overwhelming, and even small changes in weight or body size can feel like a loss of control. This can make it extremely difficult for loved ones to intervene or encourage healthier behaviors, as the individual may resist help out of fear or shame. Understanding what your loved one is going through also means recognizing that recovery is a long and non-linear process. Healing from anorexia takes time, and there will be setbacks along the way. The individual may experience periods of resistance, denial, or even relapse, which can be frustrating for loved ones to witness. It is important to remember that these behaviors are symptoms of the disorder, not a reflection of the person's character or intentions. Compassion, patience, and a commitment to supporting them through the ups and downs of recovery are crucial. By gaining a deeper understanding of the emotional and psychological struggles that accompany anorexia, loved ones can offer more meaningful and effective support. Instead of focusing solely on food and appearance, recognizing the emotional and psychological components of the disorder allows for a more holistic approach to healing. Through empathy, education, and patience, loved ones can help create a nurturing environment that fosters recovery, helping the individual regain a sense of self-worth and connection to their true needs and desires. How to offer compassionate support. Offering compassionate support to a loved one struggling with anorexia nervosa can be one of the most important and impactful ways to aid their recovery. While the journey to healing is ultimately the responsibility of the individual, your role as a supporter can significantly influence their sense of hope, self-worth, and motivation to continue on their path to recovery. Compassionate support involves offering unconditional love, empathy, and understanding, while also encouraging the person to seek professional help and take ownership of their healing. One of the key elements of compassionate support is practicing empathy. It's essential to recognize that anorexia is a complex mental health disorder, not a choice or a simple desire to control food. Individuals with anorexia often experience profound emotional distress, confusion, and fear. They may not be able to see their situation clearly or understand how deeply their behavior is affecting their physical and emotional well-being. As a loved one, showing empathy means trying to understand their emotional pain without judgment, even when their behaviors may seem frustrating or irrational. Listening without offering immediate solutions or critiques allows them to feel heard and valued, which can be a powerful step in fostering trust and connection. It's also important to approach your loved one with patience. Recovery from anorexia is rarely a straightforward linear process, and setbacks are common. While it's natural to feel frustrated or helpless at times, offering consistent support without criticism can create a sense of safety and security. Encourage your loved one to take small, manageable steps toward healing and celebrate each milestone, no matter how small. This positive reinforcement helps to reduce feelings of shame or failure that may accompany setbacks and reinforces the idea that recovery is possible. Another key aspect of compassionate support is setting boundaries. While it's important to be supportive, it's equally crucial to avoid enabling disordered behaviors. This means resisting the temptation to focus solely on food or weight, which can perpetuate the individual's obsession with these topics. Instead, help your loved one focus on their emotional well-being, fostering a sense of self-worth beyond appearance. Be clear about your boundaries when it comes to disordered eating behaviors and gently encourage them to seek professional help when necessary. Setting healthy boundaries shows that you care about their long-term well-being, not just immediate comfort. Lastly, compassionate support requires you to take care of yourself. Supporting someone with anorexia can be emotionally draining, and if you neglect your own emotional health, you may become less effective in providing the support your loved one needs. Seek support for yourself, whether through therapy, support groups, or trusted friends, so that you can approach the situation with a clear, calm, and empathetic mindset. Ultimately, offering compassionate support is about creating a foundation of unconditional love, patience, and understanding. Your role is not to fix your loved one's problems, but to provide a steady, caring presence that helps them feel understood and supported throughout their recovery journey. By remaining empathetic, patient, and committed, You can help your loved one navigate the challenges of anorexia and work toward a healthier, more fulfilling life. Navigating the challenges of being a caregiver. Being a caregiver to someone with anorexia nervosa is both a deeply rewarding and emotionally taxing experience. While providing support and encouragement for a loved one's recovery, caregivers often face numerous challenges that can take a toll on their own mental and emotional well-being. These challenges can range from navigating complex emotions to coping with difficult behaviors, and it's essential for caregivers to understand these difficulties and seek support for themselves throughout the process. One of the primary challenges of caregiving is managing the emotional roller coaster that often accompanies supporting someone with anorexia. Recovery is rarely a smooth, linear journey. There are often periods of progress, followed by setbacks, including relapses or resistance to treatment. These ups and downs can create feelings of frustration, helplessness, and doubt. Caregivers may feel as though their efforts are not making a difference or that they are failing their loved one. However, it's important to recognize that recovery from anorexia is a long-term process, and setbacks do not equate to failure. Caregivers must practice patience, understanding that healing takes time, and continue offering support even during challenging times. Another significant challenge is dealing with the emotional distance that anorexia can create between the individual and their caregivers. Anorexia often leads to social withdrawal, denial, and a reluctance to seek help, making it difficult for caregivers to connect with their loved one. The individual may resist treatment or refuse to engage in conversations about their struggles, creating feelings of isolation for both the person with anorexia and their caregivers. Caregivers must approach these situations with empathy, refraining from taking the rejection personally. Building trust and providing unconditional support without pressuring or forcing the person to open up can gradually help bridge this emotional gap. Caregivers also face the challenge of managing the delicate balance between offering support and setting boundaries. It's important to avoid enabling disordered behaviors, such as discussing weight or food excessively, or making concessions to avoid conflict. Instead, caregivers should focus on fostering a sense of emotional well-being and encouraging professional treatment. This requires clear communication about what is acceptable behavior and what is not, while remaining compassionate and non-judgmental. Setting these boundaries is critical for both the recovery of the individual and the emotional health of the caregiver. Additionally, caregivers often neglect their own needs while prioritizing the well-being of their loved one. The emotional toll of caregiving can lead to burnout, stress, and even resentment if caregivers do not take steps to care for their own mental and physical health. Seeking support through therapy, joining caregiver support groups, or confiding in trusted friends can help alleviate feelings of isolation and ensure caregivers are emotionally equipped to continue supporting their loved one. Taking time for self-care and maintaining a healthy balance between caregiving and personal well-being is vital for long-term sustainability. In summary, navigating the challenges of being a caregiver for someone with anorexia involves balancing emotional ups and downs, managing difficult behaviors, setting boundaries, and ensuring one's own well-being. It requires patience, resilience, and a willingness to seek support when needed. By recognizing these challenges and responding with compassion and self-care, caregivers can continue to provide meaningful support while preserving their own emotional health. Taking care of your own mental health. Caring for a loved one with anorexia nervosa can be emotionally and physically draining, and often caregivers neglect their own mental health in the process. It's easy to become so focused on the well-being of the person you're supporting that your own needs are sidelined. However, taking care of your own mental health is crucial, not only for your own well-being, but also for your ability to provide effective support. When caregivers prioritize self-care, they are better equipped to cope with the stress and challenges that arise throughout the recovery process. One of the first steps in taking care of your mental health is recognizing the emotional impact that caregiving can have. It is common to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or even resentful at times. The unpredictability of anorexia recovery, combined with the emotional strain of witnessing your loved one's struggles, can lead to stress, burnout, and exhaustion. Understanding that these feelings are normal is important. Caregivers should give themselves permission to acknowledge their emotions, rather than suppressing them or feeling guilty. By allowing yourself to feel and process these emotions, you can better navigate the complexities of caregiving without becoming emotionally overwhelmed. It's also vital to set healthy boundaries. As a caregiver, you may feel responsible for your loved one's recovery, but it's important to recognize that you cannot heal them on your own. You are there to support, not to fix the situation. Setting limits on how much emotional energy and time you devote to caregiving can prevent burnout and ensure that you do not lose yourself in the process. Boundaries might include limiting conversations about food and weight or taking breaks when the emotional weight of caregiving feels too heavy. By setting clear boundaries, you protect your mental health and reinforce the importance of self-care. Seeking support from others is another critical aspect of maintaining mental well-being. Connecting with other caregivers who understand your struggles can provide a sense of relief and validation. Support groups, therapy, or talking to trusted friends can be incredibly helpful in providing emotional outlets. Having a network of people to lean on who can offer advice, empathy, and encouragement helps prevent isolation and emotional burnout. It's essential to surround yourself with individuals who understand your experiences and can offer perspective and comfort when needed. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, whether it's exercising, reading, spending time outdoors, or practicing mindfulness, can help reduce stress and restore balance. Regularly engaging in self-care practices helps to replenish your emotional reserves, ensuring that you have the energy and emotional resilience to continue supporting your loved one. Finally, don't hesitate to seek professional help for yourself. Therapy or counseling can be invaluable in processing the emotional challenges of caregiving. A mental health professional can offer coping strategies, help you manage stress, and provide a safe space to talk about your feelings. In summary, taking care of your mental health as a caregiver is just as important as caring for your loved one. By recognizing your emotional needs, setting boundaries, seeking support, practicing self-care, and considering professional help, you ensure that you remain strong and resilient. When you prioritize your own mental well-being, you are better able to support your loved one on their journey to recovery. Chapter 11, Looking Ahead. As you or your loved one navigates the recovery process from anorexia nervosa, it's important to focus not just on the present, but also on the future. Recovery is a journey, one that can take time, effort, and persistence. But looking ahead is essential for maintaining motivation and hope. The road to healing is rarely linear, and setbacks may occur, but with the right tools, strategies, and support, the future can hold new opportunities for growth, fulfillment, and well-being. One of the most important things to recognize as you look ahead is that recovery is possible. While anorexia can be a challenging disorder to overcome, countless individuals have successfully reclaimed their lives and rebuilt their relationships with food, body image, and themselves. The future can be one of hope, where the individual can rediscover their passions, develop healthy relationships, and live a fulfilling life free from the constraints of the eating disorder. Even in the face of challenges, it's crucial to keep sight of this possibility and work toward it step by step. The future of recovery involves not just healing the body and mind, but also developing a sense of self-worth and confidence. Many individuals with anorexia struggle with feelings of inadequacy, shame, and perfectionism, which can impact their ability to see their own value. However, through therapy, support, and personal growth, it's possible to develop a healthier, more compassionate relationship with oneself. This means recognizing that self-worth is not defined by appearance, weight, or societal standards. Instead, it comes from within, through personal achievements, kindness, resilience, and self-acceptance. Looking ahead, it's essential to work on building a sense of inner strength and self-compassion that will carry you through the rest of your recovery. Looking forward also means creating a sustainable, long-term approach to recovery. This involves identifying strategies to prevent relapse and maintain progress. For some, this might include ongoing therapy, support groups, or regular check-ins with medical professionals. It may also mean developing coping mechanisms to manage stress, anxiety, and triggers that could lead to old habits. Establishing a strong network of support, including friends, family, and mental health professionals, can make a significant difference in maintaining recovery in the long run. Finally, as you look to the future, it's important to embrace a new way of thinking and living. Recovery from anorexia is not just about the absence of disordered behaviors, but about living a life that is rich with meaning, connection, and fulfillment. It involves rediscovering joy, rebuilding relationships, and setting new goals for the future. While recovery can be a difficult and ongoing process, the future holds the promise of healing, transformation, and the opportunity to live life with greater purpose and authenticity. In conclusion, looking ahead is about seeing the potential for a brighter, healthier future. Recovery may not always be easy, but with hope, perseverance, and a commitment to healing, the future is full of possibility. As you move forward, remember that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to reclaiming your life and finding the peace and fulfillment that you deserve. Sustaining recovery over time. Sustaining recovery from anorexia nervosa is a lifelong commitment that requires ongoing effort, self-awareness, and support. While reaching a point of recovery is an incredible accomplishment, maintaining that progress over time can be challenging. The path to long-term recovery involves not only overcoming the eating disorder, but also developing strategies to prevent relapse and continue healing. It is a dynamic process that requires a combination of internal resilience and external support systems to remain steady and focused. One of the key components of sustaining recovery is maintaining a strong foundation of self-awareness. This means staying mindful of your thoughts, behaviors, and emotional triggers that might lead to unhealthy patterns. Regular self-reflection helps identify early warning signs of distress or disordered thoughts, allowing you to address them before they escalate. Journaling, therapy, or mindfulness practices can be effective tools for monitoring your mental and emotional state. By staying in tune with yourself, you can identify potential setbacks and address them in a constructive way, keeping yourself grounded in your recovery journey. Another important aspect of sustaining recovery is developing and maintaining healthy coping mechanisms. In the past, individuals with anorexia often relied on disordered eating behaviors as a way to cope with stress, anxiety, or negative emotions. To sustain recovery, it is vital to replace these old coping mechanisms with healthier alternatives. This may involve learning new stress management techniques, such as mindfulness, deep breathing, or physical exercise. Finding ways to manage emotions without turning to food or restrictive behaviors is essential for long-term success. These coping mechanisms can also help build emotional resilience, making it easier to handle life's challenges without slipping back into old patterns. It is also crucial to maintain a strong support network. Recovery does not happen in isolation, and having a reliable system of support can help prevent relapse and offer encouragement during difficult times. This network can include family members, friends, therapists, dietitians, and support groups. These individuals provide both emotional support and accountability, helping you stay focused on your goals and offering a safe space for expressing struggles. Regular check-ins with mental health professionals and continued participation in support groups can help reinforce your commitment to recovery and keep you motivated to stay on track. Additionally, Setting realistic, long-term goals for yourself can help sustain recovery. Rather than focusing solely on weight or appearance, it's important to create goals that emphasize personal growth, health, and well-being. These might include achieving emotional balance, fostering meaningful relationships, or pursuing new interests and passions. By focusing on goals that are not centered around the eating disorder, you create a more holistic vision of recovery that supports your ongoing healing. Celebrating small victories along the way and recognizing progress, no matter how incremental, is vital for staying motivated. Lastly, maintaining a flexible mindset is essential. Recovery is rarely a straight line, and setbacks may occur. It's important to approach these moments with compassion and understanding rather than judgment. Viewing challenges as part of the journey and learning from them helps you stay resilient and focused on your long-term recovery. By accepting that healing is a dynamic and evolving process, you can sustain your recovery with greater ease. In conclusion, sustaining recovery from anorexia nervosa involves ongoing self-awareness, healthy coping strategies, a strong support network, and realistic long-term goals. Recovery is not a destination, but an ongoing journey that requires commitment, flexibility, and a willingness to adapt to life's changes. By nurturing your mental and emotional health, staying connected with support systems, and focusing on holistic well-being, you can continue to sustain your recovery and enjoy a fulfilling life free from the constraints of anorexia. Embracing a life of freedom and joy. Embracing a life of freedom and joy is the ultimate goal of recovery from anorexia nervosa. After overcoming the hold the disorder has on your life, it becomes possible to experience a newfound sense of peace, vitality, and fulfillment. While the journey to recovery may have been long and difficult, the rewards are profound. Living a life free from the constraints of an eating disorder allows for the full expression of one's potential, creativity, and happiness. The freedom to nourish your body, engage with life, and find joy in everyday moments can feel like a rediscovery of self. The first step in embracing a life of freedom is letting go of the fear that often accompanies recovery. For many individuals with anorexia, the fear of weight gain, loss of control, or judgment from others can persist long after disordered behaviors have subsided. However, true freedom comes from releasing the grip of these fears and recognizing that they no longer have a place in your life. Over time, as you heal and develop a more balanced relationship with food and body image, you can replace fear with confidence. You learn to trust your body's natural hunger cues, engage with food without guilt, and take pride in your ability to nourish yourself. Living a life of joy involves reconnecting with the passions and experiences that bring meaning to your life. For many, anorexia can steal away the ability to enjoy life's simple pleasures. The focus shifts from being present and engaged to obsessing over food, weight, and appearance. Once the eating disorder is no longer the central focus, it becomes possible to rediscover what truly brings happiness. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, exploring creative endeavors, or pursuing new hobbies. Reclaiming these joys allows you to live a fuller, richer life, where food and body image no longer dominate your thoughts and actions. Another aspect of embracing freedom is developing a healthier perspective on self-worth. For so long, individuals with anorexia may have defined their value by their appearance, their ability to control food intake, or by external validation. In recovery, however, self-worth becomes rooted in deeper qualities, such as kindness, resilience, creativity, and the ability to love and be loved. As you rebuild your sense of self, you begin to appreciate the intrinsic value of who you are, independent of weight or societal expectations. This shift in mindset is liberating, allowing you to live authentically and confidently. Additionally, embracing freedom means learning to live without the burden of perfectionism. Perfectionism, often intertwined with anorexia, can create unrealistic expectations and an ongoing sense of dissatisfaction. Recovery offers the opportunity to break free from these constraints, understanding that imperfection is part of being human. The pursuit of progress, not perfection, becomes the focus, allowing for more grace and self-compassion. Finally, embracing a life of freedom and joy involves recognizing that recovery is not the end of the journey, but rather the beginning of a new chapter. It's about moving forward with the tools, insights, and strength gained through the recovery process. It's about living a life that reflects your true self, one where you are no longer defined by an eating disorder, but by your passions, your relationships, and your capacity for joy. In conclusion, embracing a life of freedom and joy is the ultimate expression of recovery. It's a life where you are free from the constraints of an eating disorder, empowered to live authentically, and filled with the potential to experience happiness and fulfillment. Through the journey of recovery, you reclaim not just your body, but your life, allowing yourself to thrive in ways that once seemed impossible. Advocacy and helping others. Advocacy and helping others is a powerful and meaningful aspect of the recovery journey. Once individuals have navigated their own path to healing, they often feel a deep sense of purpose in supporting others who are facing similar struggles. By sharing your story, offering support, and advocating for change, you can help raise awareness about anorexia nervosa, reduce stigma, and provide hope for those still grappling with the disorder. Advocacy not only empowers others, but also reinforces your own recovery by fostering a sense of connection and purpose. One of the most impactful ways to help others is through sharing your own experience with anorexia. Personal stories have a unique ability to connect people, offering them validation, understanding, and hope. When someone hears that they are not alone, it can be a pivotal moment in their journey toward healing. By speaking openly about your struggles, you can help break down the barriers of shame and silence that often accompany eating disorders. This transparency fosters a sense of community and reminds others that recovery is possible, even after the darkest moments. In addition to sharing your story, you can help others by volunteering with organizations dedicated to supporting individuals with eating disorders. Many nonprofit organizations offer resources, counseling, and support groups for individuals and their families, and your involvement can make a significant difference. Whether it's offering your time, knowledge, or resources, your contribution helps to build a network of support for those in need. This work can be deeply rewarding, as it allows you to channel your experience into something positive and beneficial for others. Advocacy also involves speaking out on a broader level about the importance of mental health awareness, eating disorder prevention, and access to proper treatment. Through raising awareness, you can help change the way society views anorexia and other eating disorders. This might involve participating in campaigns, working with schools to provide education on body image and mental health, or advocating for policy changes that improve access to care for those struggling with eating disorders. As an advocate, you play an important role in influencing public opinion, shaping policies, and promoting a more compassionate, informed approach to mental health and eating disorders. Helping others can also mean offering direct support to individuals in your personal life who are struggling. Being a compassionate listener, encouraging them to seek professional help, and offering empathy can make a significant difference. Sometimes, just being there for someone without judgment or expectation can provide the support they need to take the first step toward recovery. In conclusion, advocacy and helping others is a natural extension of your recovery journey. By sharing your story, getting involved in organizations, raising awareness, and providing direct support, you can make a lasting impact on the lives of others. Advocacy not only helps others find hope and healing, but it also reinforces your own recovery, creating a sense of purpose, connection, and fulfillment as you contribute to the wider community. You have been listening to Breaking Free from Anorexia, Overcoming Anorexia and Reclaiming Your Life, written by Anna Bridges, narrated by Janice Peckers,